Yeah! Yeah! Yes! Yes! We are broadcasting. I was about to say live, but this isn't live as usual. It will be soon. Believe that. Believe that. We are doing this from my hotel room. Showtime treats you right, though, man. We're in the penthouse up in this bitch, Jen. Mama, nice. We made it. Mama, we made it, kind of. Not really. Not really. Man, it's about, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but I'm just not a Vegas guy. Not a Vegas guy. I think the hotels are unhealthy. Being, they want to keep you in the dark so you don't know what time it is, so you stay gambling and drinking. The food is all right. I don't know. I'm just not a big Vegas guy. The constant blasting of the AC can't be healthy. So more than a day in Vegas, I start to go a little cock crazy. Little cock crazy, Jen. I don't know. Nice. Jen, nice. Jen got here yesterday. Jen, have you just taken a gander at the Tinder ladies up in Vegas, or what are we doing here? Let's get this Tinder thing going worldwide.
I wish I had time for that, but maybe today. Maybe
you've been well. You're rolling with me today, and the schedule is packed.
Yeah.
So, but maybe tonight though.
Maybe tonight.
Just open it up. There's Tinder. Then what's the other one? There's Bumble.
People are telling me to go on Bumble. They said it's like a better place for really meeting someone special.
Special. I love that. Instead of just hooking up.
Yeah.
I feel like if you get on there in Vegas, you can meet a nice working girl. If you catch my drift.
Slumbuster, right?
Yeah, it could be a slumbuster. Yeah,
that's what I need first. So
yeah, I hear hopefully. You. Vegas might be the place to do it. And if Bumble or Tinder doesn't work, we can go ahead and get you a professional.
I'm too.
I have a friend who knows how to do that. I have a friend. It's a cousin's sister's friend.
If you didn't mention it, maybe I would have taken you up on the offer because you put it out there.
I blasted out there.
Can't do it.
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy week. Doing the stuff for Showtime, and then obviously the Pauly drama. Mm-hmm. Pauly hasn't been on the broadcast this week because he had the whole kind of confrontation with Conor during the fighter kind of meet and greet that they did on the crowd. I think that was on Tuesday. So, it's a little bit of a bad look. So they decided to not use them during the broadcast stuff I've been doing all week. They've kind of, Morrow was on there. Obviously, Brian's always there, but Morrow was on there. And they had the boxing historian on there. And then today, I'm not sure if he's on there during the weigh-ins. But he's still on the broadcast. Should be interesting. And I'm sure you have all the Pauly drama on the current events, I assume, right, Jen?
Definitely got some of that, yeah.
Yeah, you got all that stuff. But it's been a fun week, man. Radio Row's been interesting. So the Radio Row they have separate from the hotel. They built like this separate tent. It's huge. There's a ton of people in there. And there's not a lot. I mean, Ariel's there, but he just got there. There's not a lot of MMA representation there. Luke Thomas is there, thank God, familiar face. Jason Ellis is there. Other than that, it's all like boxing heads and radio stations. And so the way it works is Showtime's publicist goes, hey, we have Brendan Schaub. Who wants to interview Brendan Schaub? So you might do 15 in a day. You might do 10. You might do 30. You do a ton of interviews. But it's like, hey, I'm here, 97.7 Wyoming. We got Brendan Schaub here. So with your experience, how's this fight go down? Does Conor have a single chance? That's the same thing over and over and over. I'm not complaining, but it'd be nice to talk to someone who's educated on it a little bit. And there are some are super educated on it. I would say the coolest thing I've done so far is, the press conference was all right. I got to be honest, Conor making people wait an hour and change. He out-tardiness Floyd Mayweather, which I don't know if it was a mind game thing or what, but and you guys know this. If obviously I ride and die with Conor on this stuff, but it was a little too much. It's getting a little old. It's fight week. There's really no reason to do it. You're also not getting the head of Floyd Mayweather. He's one of the guys who's really not affected by it. I don't know what his motives were there, but God, it really kind of took the energy out of the room. Granted, it wasn't open to the public, and I see some of the notes on Instagram and on Twitter like, God, the crowd looked dead. It wasn't open to the public. It was just media, and there's a shitload of media. But everyone just got a little, it's if you're doing comedy, you can't make people wait an hour and drink because the energy, they just get tired. Think if you're sitting in the same place for an hour, you lose kind of interest in what's going on. So took a little bit out of it. And then when he got up there, it just didn't have a whole lot to say. Neither did Dana. And then I thought Floyd looked super professional. Just, you can tell it's his last hurrah. And he had some interesting takeaways as far as, all right, Conor, we know you can dish it, but can you take it? I'm going to get into this stuff because I've learned a lot about Floyd Mayweather in this experience. So the stuff I knew about Conor, I'm obviously more familiar with Conor. I'm in the world of mixed martial arts and the UFC, and very familiar with Conor's career. Obviously very familiar with Floyd Mayweather, but not on a personal level. Now being around him more and seeing the way he operates and stuff like that it's been a eye-opening experience for the best, definitely for the better, I should say. So with that whole thing, and when Floyd gets up there and he says, "Can you dish it?" and then so after the way it works, so after that he does like a media row thing where I'm not a journalist, so I'm not all up in that. I chill, and then Showtime they're shooting all access, so it's just the Showtime team. So there's maybe 6 of us, and you have a mic on, and so Floyd Mayweather and his team's on one side of the desk. It's about if you're watching this video, the desk's probably 3 times as big as this. So 6 chairs on the left, 6 chairs on the right. Floyd's in the middle. Morrow, Jim Lance, all the whole Brian, the whole Showtime team. Espinoza's here. We're all on this side. You can ask him questions. He's there. He's to open up. It's different than what you see on the other interviews. So they mic me up. I'm like, all right, this will be fun. And before we go in, like, hey, man, Floyd, if he doesn't recognize you, he kicks people out, because a small, intimate group, if he has something going on, he will literally be like, hey, get out, like he did that last time. So I was like, oh, man, it's going to be super embarrassing when he kicks me out. It's going to be hilarious, but it's going to be embarrassing. So I was a little nervous. But so we all sit down, everyone's asking their questions, and I asked him about the Paulie sparring video. I said, hey, it's like, when we play hopscotch as a kid, like, when am I going to jump in? Like, right, when do I jump in? So Jim asked his questions, Morrow asked his questions, and I went, fuck it, go. I'm like, yo, I didn't say yo. I said, we don't know much about, especially Floyd, your team, you don't know much about Conor's movement and his boxing. The only footage you've seen is the sparring footage against Paulie Malignaggi, which, isn't exactly flattering if you're a Paulie fan or if you're a boxing fan. And he goes, what? That shit ain't real. I don't even consider that boxing. That was wrestling, like dirty boxing. And I went, I disagree. If you see before that, he landed a big left hand. He goes, yeah, left hand was good, but I don't even bother with that stuff. None of that stuff bothers me. And then he goes on this kind of rift about how social media, like everyone's so into social media and what's going on these days, and how it's all hoopla and he doesn't pay attention to it. And so I find that interesting because he has kind of a big, social media presence and he's always on there. And then they start talking about some other thing. And then Morrow goes, you're the Bill Belichick of boxing. You've been really cerebral and doing that. And he goes, nah, man, I'm not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick never played a down of football in his life. He goes, Bill Belichick creates a game plan. Tom Brady executes it. I'm like a combination of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick if you mix them together. Because I come up with a game plan, I execute it. I'm the one who performs. I'm not Bill Belichick. Jim Lance, I think his name Jim Lance.
Lampley, right?
No, not Jim Lampley. Oh, Jim Gray. Jim Gray. Jesus, sorry guys. Jim Gray, when he goes, no, I'm not Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. I'm both of them combined. Don't ever make that comparison again, right? And we start laughing. Jim Gray goes, oh, I got someone on FaceTime. And we're like, who was he talking to his kids? Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady up in that bitch. He had Tom Brady on FaceTime, and him and Floyd are talking. I was like, what is going on right now? So then that kind of eased the tension in the room. And then someone else asks a question. Floyd gets a little heated about it. And then, it's winding down, And I'm like, God, I got to come up with something here, man. I've asked about Paulie and 8-ounce gloves, and if that's going to help him put them away, which everyone thinks it is. And someone goes, what about your entourage? You always have a good entourage come out with you. And I go, was it my turn? I yell, I can guarantee it's not the Beebs. Crickets, crickets, crickets. Floyd looks over at me, takes his glasses off and goes, yo, man, try and keep it positive up in here. Why are you bringing that up? Why are you bringing up Bieber? And I went, because we obviously stopped following you on Twitter. I know I sound like a 16-year-old chick right now.
Instagram.
Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, he stopped following you. And you guys were close, and now he's on your corner. He's like, we talked. We're all good, man. Try and keep it positive. I said, me too. No, I'm trying to keep it positive too. I think it's a positive thing you don't have Bieber in your corner, for God's sakes. And then I look over, and the head of Showtime, Espinosa's like this. And I was like, well, it's probably the last time I'm going to be here. It's just so tight when it's uncomfortable when it's that tight and that serious. But my whole takeaway from that thing is, in talking to the guys who are super close with Floyd, I talked to my boy from Boxing Hype, he's super close with Floyd. He's Floyd's media guy. He's a guy who also is in every training camp with Floyd. And I said, cut the bullshit, man. Obviously, people are saying Floyd has been taking this easy. He's overlooking the fight. He's not training as hard. He had a hard workout on Wednesday, which means he's a little nervous about, going all 12 rounds, stuff like that. I said, what's going on here? And he goes, bro, when I tell you this, I'm being dead serious. He goes, I've seen Floyd in how many fights. I've been in all his camps. I've never seen him like this. He's knocking guys out in training camp. He's destroying guys. He's in the best shape of his life. I've never seen him so prepared. He's offended because people actually think Conor can win. He takes super offense to it. He's not going to say that publicly, but it's driving him nuts with the odds and stuff like that. So he's going to make money off of it. But he's super offended that he's considered the greatest of all time, and people are actually giving a guy with 0-0 boxing record a chance. And then we talked to Floyd. Listen, Floyd and Conor, both of them guarantee it's not going to go all 12 rounds. And I know it sells the fight, stuff like that. I believe these fools. I really do. I think Floyd's going to go in there and hearing from his team, it doesn't sound like you're going to get the Floyd who's going off his back foot, running, chasing, sticking and moving. Sounds like you can get a Floyd who stands his ground and is going to exchange with Conor, which, if you're a Conor fan, I like my chances. Because it's going to be harder for him to get hit if, Floyd's the best at escaping, pivoting off that back foot and getting out of angles and run around, scoring points and winning round by round. You can plant your feet, allow Conor to kind of do his thing. Now, granted, I think, Floyd thinks he sees something, some holes in his game, and I think the biggest takeaway is Conor's defense. And there's an argument there. Conor does get hit. Even if you watch the Aldo tape, when he knocks him out, he does take a hook in the exchange.
Yeah, he does.
Obviously, in the Nate Diaz fights, he's been hit. Some Chad Mendez landed to get some good shots. So his defense isn't exactly Floyd Mayweather. So I think that's what Floyd's team is banking on. And that's why he wanted the 8-ounce gloves. He wants to make a statement. So you hear all this hoopla, like, it's not a big deal. But I'm telling you, man, being around Floyd during the press tour, being around this week, off camera, he's so certain he's going to finish Conor. He's so certain. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting, man. Today we have the weigh-ins. I'll tell you what's bullshit is you see all this stuff going around saying, Conor's not going to make weight. I don't know who's in Floyd's team's ear. Tell them I don't know if it's Paulie. I don't know who it is leaking this information. They couldn't be more wrong. Conor's around 7 pounds out from making weight, and that was yesterday. 7 pounds, and this is what people forget: 7 pounds of MMA ain't shit. So that's an easy cut for Conor. I mean, you go in the sauna for a few, you're good. You got a sweatsuit on that. So when they say I don't think he's gonna make weight, God, they're so off. I mean, I don't know where that news got leaked, but that's fake news. If you believe that, then the Earth is flat. It's just not. And on mainstream media, you see everyone trying to pick up any story they can, right? Any story they can. Paulie being a rat, Conor not making weight, Floyd not taking it serious, Floyd being up all night. So Floyd sleeps from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's his sleeping schedule. So his whole nights are free, but he doesn't drink or party, but he's always out. He's either in the club where he's just chilling, resting, or he's at his strip club where you saw Ira Hawani interview him, where I thought he looked exhausted in that interview. I thought he was kind of out on his feet. Didn't respond great to the questions. I just think he's exhausted, man. So hopefully he gets some rest. The weigh-ins will be interesting today. Floyd's already on weight. He's actually under. He has to gain, I think, 3 pounds. So that just shows you where they're at. Yeah. So, Yeah, it's been great working with Showtime, man. And I think there's also a bigger play here with Showtime as far as you'll be seeing me more kind of collabing with Showtime on some boxing stuff. And there's some cool stuff in the works. Nothing I can talk about yet, but there's definitely some cool stuff there. As far as the broadcast, I don't think I'll make it on the actual fight broadcast. I know. It's a bummer. It's been great working with them. I just think they have their team. They're set in their ways. They don't want an MMA voice in there. They are Showtime Boxing. They're viewing this as a boxing event. Personally, I think it's a mistake. I don't agree with it at all, but it's not my call. And they've been great to me. And I don't know what else. I obviously made my case. I've done some good work for them and stuff like that. But if they want their normal team who they've had forever, and to toss in a new kind of guy. I guess it's a risk for them. That's kind of their aspect, and also I don't know if they even want an MMA voice in there. Obviously, they don't, or I would be there. But that's where we're at. So it is what it is, man. It's still been great to be part of it, but that's a bummer. I do have really good tickets to the fight and credentials, so I will definitely be there. But as far as seeing me on the broadcast, as of now, slim to none, y'all. Slim to none, which. That would have been the home run to be. I'm still part of the biggest fight of all time as far as covering and stuff like that and being on Team Showtime. It's great. But as far as actually covering the fight, if they decide to use MMA guy, I was their guy. But I think the showrunner was just like, man, let's just stick with our boxing team. It's a boxing event. Again, I think it's a huge mistake. I really do. I think this pay-per-view to break the records of, the Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, the MMA fan base is the ones who are going to break that for you. They are. So to not have a representation or a voice for them, even if I don't care who you're going to use. Use me, Ariel Helwani, Luke Thomas, Chael Sonnen. I don't care who you want to use. You should have someone to represent that fan base. But I don't run Showtime. It's not my call. It's still going to be a good broadcast. It'll be good, man. It'll be really good. So other than that, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the fight. I'm also excited for it to be over. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm excited for it to be over just because, I'm sure everyone listening is excited for it to be over. I mean, how long have we covered this? It's been how long? Three months probably? Just talking about it, and everyone, including us, anything that gets leaked, we picked up on and we talk about. And I've had Paulie on a number of times. Not have him on today for obvious reasons, but. I'll be excited when it's over so we can move on. And I'm sure it's in the news when we get to it. But, if Jon Jones is going to fail a test for steroids like he did, I guess it's probably the week to do it because in the MMA world, it's a big deal, but it's getting overshadowed. But, I mean, nothing can even come close to the coverage of Mayweather-McGregor. So I guess if you're going to do it, people will probably pick up on it next week more and let it sink in. But I'm sure it's on Kermit, so I don't want to jump ahead. But
it's all good.
I'm excited for it to be over, just so it answers a lot of questions. Win or lose, answer a lot of questions. I still believe, Conor's going to have his moments. I really do. I think this fight's all about moments. Someone's like, oh, you don't give any official predictions. Well, now I'm not working the actual broadcast. I can give you my official prediction. I think this fight comes down to there's going to be maybe 6 opportunities, moments for Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. I think Floyd's one of the best in the world because he doesn't take a lot of risks. He analyzes the situation, and then when the perfect time is there to capitalize on it, he does that. So it's going to be predicated on how Conor McGregor is going to come out and fight. I still believe in those first 4 or 5 rounds, especially if my sources who tell me that Floyd's not going to run, that he's going to come forward, that he's going to plant his feet and exchange with Conor. When I hear that, I like my prediction even more. I think, if you are going to sit there and trade, Conor will trade you 1 for 1. He is the bigger guy. He's the heavier guy here. He is the knockout artist. And they go, well, he's knockout artist in MMA. Well, if you're knockout artist in MMA, a lot of it is God-given power, stuff like that. But most of it is timing and precision and stuff like that and reaction time, which if you have that in MMA, you're going to have that in boxing. Hate to tell you guys that. For all the haters out there, take 2 baths. So I think in those first 4 to 5 rounds, Conor's going to have a few opportunities to capitalize on it. And if he does, that's when, we go in Sizzler. If he does capitalize and can get off, get to an angle, plant his feet, and use his power shots to kind of hurt Floyd, it's going to be a good night. This fight, to me, gets so interesting after the 5th round. After that 5th round, we're going to the 6th, is when cardio and game plans really start to show. So for Floyd, what makes him such a special fighter, and in some regards the best of all time, is he never wavers from the game plan. Whether he gets hit, whether he's in trouble, whether the guy comes out different than he thought, he never wavers. He's always sticking to the plan. They had a plan, which most guys don't. You'll see a lot of guys in boxing and mixed martial arts, they have a game plan. Something happens, they abandon that game plan. They stop believing, they stop trusting it. Floyd does not. No matter how bad the storm gets, he does not deviate from that plan. He sticks to it. He knows it's going to work. He believes in it, which is, incredible. So just Floyd's mental game, I think in that 6th round is when it kicks in. And this is where, if you're backing Conor, this is where you got to go, all right, well, these are the X factors, good and bad. X factors. How is Conor going to come in? Is he going to come in southpaw, traditional, mixing it up? And when he does that, is he going to have success as a southpaw? If he doesn't, does he stick to the plan and keep doing it, or does he adjust and he goes orthodox because he's having more success there? So he's going to have to figure out, because when he's orthodox, he has this set of tools. When he's southpaw, he has this set of tools. Which of these tools is working against Floyd Mayweather, and can I adapt in the fight and make it meaningful to score rounds and get rounds and land big punches, stuff like that. I'm sure they have a game plan, and that game plan that shows in those 6th, 7th, and on rounds. Early on, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement. There's going to be a lot of movement. But again, who's going to stick to their plan? Obviously, Floyd Mayweather's done that. So the X factor is Conor McGregor's game plan. Is it to use his movement, set up the shots, what got him to the dance, use the distance, the timing, his reaction, keep it kind of fluent, unorthodox, very easygoing, kind of that karate stance, that wide stance? So let's say that doesn't work. Let's say rounds 1 through 4, it doesn't really work. Floyd's getting off on him. He's not playing his game, stuff like that. So then their plan B, I'm assuming, is to go kind of, and when I say this, I understand he doesn't have the skill set of Maidana, but it's a term in boxing. So, but I will use this for a lot of people that watch the Maidana fight. Does he transition and go to the Maidana game plan where he gets in close, he makes it tough on him, he uses his side, he uses head position, he gets underhooks because the outside distance game isn't working. So you have plan A, 1 through 4, we'll know if that's working. If it is, then you keep doing that. Do we have B? He makes it nasty, Maidana style, and starts winning rounds like that. Does he do a mixture of both? It's going to be tough to do a mixture of both. But to me, those are the X factors. Those are the X factors. And someone in the fighters' meetings had an interesting question. They said, would Conor get a point taken away from him if he's faking leg kicks and elbows and knees? He definitely shouldn't. If he does, that'd be a travesty. But I think he might joke around and act like he's throwing a kick or knee. You might get a short response from Floyd, he might just like flinch. And then after that, Floyd realizes he can't actually throw that, and he won't get a reaction out of him. So if you think that's going to be in his game plan, you're probably sorely mistaken. You're just off. I don't see him doing a whole lot of that because it'd be a little bit of a shit show if he does. So again, if this fight ends by a stoppage, KO, TKO, something like that, I think it comes from Conor McGregor 1 through 6 rounds. I think early on, 1 through 6, Conor's dynamic movement, unpredictability, these X factors I talk about, that's where Conor's going to be able to capitalize. If none of that works in those first 6 rounds, it could get ugly, 6 through 12. When I say ugly, I don't mean like he's going to get starched, he's going to get annihilated. I mean, what he thought was going to work did not work. He's gone through A, B, and C. The dirty boxing isn't working. The distance game isn't working. The randomness isn't working. The southpaw isn't working. Floyd has downloaded all this. We don't have any tricks in our bag anymore. So then you are going to have to clinch stuff like that. Floyd knows you're out of tools, and then Floyd starts accumulating body shots, head shots, jabs, and starts picking you apart. And, I don't know if he can. I don't think he's going to knock Conor out, but those shots adding up, it could get nasty if you're Conor fan. So It's still this fight. No one really knows. And in all these interviews, people want to tell me how they're so certain. And if you watch First Take, you watch Fox Sports, all the mainstream media, Colin Cowherd, all these guys, even some main MMA guys, they're all certain Conor's going to get outclassed. They're all certain this is such a shit show and this is a spectacle, and no one wants to give Conor credit and all this stuff. You don't know. You guys have no idea. You do not know. No one knows. What we do know is how Floyd is going to fight. We know that 100%. What he brings to the table, we've seen it 49 times. So we know that. So you can base your prediction off that. But when you guarantee something, you're assuming you know exactly what Conor's bringing to the table. And the truth is, I don't know. Skip Bayless doesn't know. Colin Cowherd doesn't know. Max Kellerman doesn't know. Stephen A. Smith doesn't know. Molly from First Take doesn't know. None of them know. But everyone's so certain, which drives me nuts. Which drives me freaking nuts. And you look at the odds, and now more money is coming on Floyd. You had the first $1 million bet at the bookies on Floyd. People think it's guaranteed money. So you're seeing the odds starting to sway, and Conor being sort of more of an underdog, which I thought was going to happen. I thought when the odds went to 4-1 for Conor as an underdog, you're playing with a little bit of fire there. He was less of an underdog than when Floyd fought Canelo, when he fought freaking, Berto, Maidana the first time, some monsters, Cotto. So, it's a little ridiculous because, again, the reason those bets are coming in, and this is my whole point to this entire show, is no one really knows. But everyone's so certain Floyd's going to pick him apart. But you don't know. Like when I talked to the guy from Boxing Hype, they're so certain he's just going to walk through Conor. You can't say that, man. And then people go, I saw his boxing skills. We did see him get lit up against Nate Diaz. Not really. He dropped a bigger Nate Diaz, 190 pounds, 3 times, 4 times, threw everything through the kitchen sink at him. It's a bigger dude, man. You can't make those comparisons. What you can do is say, all right, and Conor doesn't know this. How's his cardio for 12 rounds? How is Conor going to find his opportunities to get rest, to reset what rounds 1 through 6? We've never seen it. He's never seen it. He's gone 5 minute rounds in UFC. It's a different game. You can rest in the clinch. You can rest on the ground. You can backtrack a little more. But he's been in there. He's familiar with that. So getting those rests are going to be a lot easier. Floyd's he's a master in there. He's going to find his rest. He's not going to be as tired. If you play the clinch game, remember the clinch game only works in boxing and wears the non-aggressor out if he plays the game. He has to be willing to play the game with Conor. You don't think Floyd knows all the stuff I'm talking about right now? Of course he knows. Of course his team knows. I just think the huge X factors there, which will be answered tomorrow night, thank God. How's Conor's cardio for a 12-round boxing match? We don't know. Conor doesn't know. He's been training his ass off. I heard he's in phenomenal shape, best shape he's ever been in. I would assume when you get to this level and you have this much at stake, he should be able to go 12 rounds. Now that's banking on them thinking that he doesn't take a lot of abuse. Floyd doesn't come forward. So again, there's all these X factors which will be answered tomorrow night. But I think if there is a knockdown or a stoppage because of it, it's because Conor McGregor lands that glorious left hand on Floyd Mayweather with his unpredictability. If he goes the distance, it's Floyd Mayweather. That's what I think, man. That's what I think. I'm pretty excited to stop talking about the fight after this. But then after this, what do we do? Then people are talking about Paulie fight. People are talking about, this is 100% the last one for Floyd. We know that. What else is interesting is being here is seeing the undercard. I don't know how much those guys get paid. I was watching the guys yesterday. I was thinking to myself, how much you guys get paid? You got Gervonta Davis, who's a freak. If you don't know him, he's 22 years old. He's a knockout artist. They call him the Tank. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. When I'm interviewing him yesterday, he's talking, and people think he's the next pay-per-view king, stuff like that. 130 pounds can be tough. He has to move up in order to do that. He has the biggest opportunity of his life. They brought in this poor soul from, Nicaragua or some shit like that. He's the biggest favorite on the card. I think he's minus 2,500 or something like that. He's supposed to murk this dude. He's murked everyone, I think, in the first 3 rounds, something like that. Complete badass.
It's fun to watch.
Fun to watch. He's the co-main event. As I'm interviewing him, I look down, and he has the scariest tattoo I've ever seen. He's a small dude. If you look, it looks like I'm one of those, ventriloquist. Look at with a puppet.
Yeah.
Look at the video. It looks like he's I'm like working with him. But his tattoo on his forearm is a huge burning building, like an apartment building, with a masked black man burglar with a stack of money like this, with the burglar mask on. As he's talking, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that tattoo is intense.
Dude,
he's from like the hood in Baltimore. Still there, still trains there. Jeez. He's an Under Armour athlete. You know, obviously Baltimore Under Armour, there's a relationship there. But I was like, God, I wanted to ask him about the tattoo, but it wasn't the time. No, right. I wanted to. But you got Badu Jack on the card, like that undercard. It's good. It's all Floyd Mayweather's team. And I said on the broadcast, I said, dude, how funny it would be if his team goes undefeated, which more than likely they're supposed to. There's one fight, the Cunningham fight, the English fella at light heavyweight. That's a tough fight for Jack. Very, very tough fight. It's the most even fight. Most people think it's the fight of the night. Other than that, most of his fighters are huge favorites. So let's say Floyd wins like he thinks he's going to win. What if he grabbed the mic and said, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over? Be hilarious. It would be. I could see him doing some shit like that. Should we jump some current events, my man?
Yeah, dude. So you mentioned that the $1 million bet. So MGM Sportsbook took $1 million bet on Mayweather, right? In Ireland, the biggest bookmaker in Ireland, he's already paid out $300,000 in early payments to people that are choosing Floyd Mayweather, which is a huge thing to do. It's pretty much cementing that Ireland's biggest bookmaker is agreeing that Mayweather's going to win.
That's a bummer. I mean, all signs point to Floyd Mayweather winning. I get that, man. I get that. I don't argue that. I'm just saying you have to open up your mind a little bit. And with that bookie doing that stuff like that, I'm not surprised by it because that's the logical thing to do. So when people go, I had this argument with this cat yesterday, while I was walking to Starbucks. The guy goes, you know, it's not the biggest upset of all time. Buster Douglas, odds-wise, was 42-1 against Mike Tyson. So let's talk about that. So Buster Douglas was 42-1 underdog to beat Mike Tyson. All right, that's cool. Buster Douglas was ranked, I think, 11th in the world, I think, at the time, in boxing. So the reason why Buster Douglas being 42-1 underdog isn't a bigger upset than Conor McGregor beating Floyd Mayweather because Buster Douglas was a professional boxer in the boxing world. He had how many boxing matches before that against some world-class guys, and he beat them and knocked them out, and then he fought Mike Tyson as a boxer. Conor McGregor beating Floyd Mayweather with an 0-0 boxing record against the best boxer of all time at 49-0 would be like the fucking New York Mets deciding to play football and go right to the Super Bowl and beating the Patriots. That's the biggest upset of all time. That would be like then people go, well, what about the U.S. men's hockey team when they beat Russia? Again, the U.S. men's hockey team beat other hockey teams to get to the finals to compete for the gold medal. That would be like the Denver Broncos put on ice skates, going straight to the gold medal round and beating that great Russia team. That's what it would be like, which would be the biggest upset of all time. Now, odds-wise, 42-1 Buster Douglas is a bigger deal, but that doesn't make sense. So the reason why it doesn't make too much sense to me is saying, Buster Douglas bigger upset. That doesn't work because in that boxing world, yeah, it's a bigger upset. In life, in history, in the magnitude of things, if Conor McGregor were to pull this off, he's the biggest athlete of all time. Bigger than Michael Jordan, bigger than Muhammad Ali, bigger than LeBron James. Think about it, man. You're talking about a guy who's not in the realm of boxing, goes and fights the best guy of all time and knocks him out. Biggest of all time. I know that's dramatic, stuff like that, but think about it. It's insane. Yeah. It's freaking insane, man. That's like LeBron James. Think how famous LeBron James is. Or Ronaldo, for you guys listening. Think about Ronaldo, the soccer player, playing quarterback for the Patriots. He just decides to play quarterback for the Patriots. And then doesn't play any regular season games, doesn't do the playoffs, goes straight to the Super Bowl and throws the game-winning pass. Brings them back from 28-3 against Atlanta Falcons and wins the game. That's nuts. That's what it's like, man. That's what you're dealing with. That's why this is what is on the line, and this is what's fast. These stories are fascinating to me. I get all that. Floyd 49-0. Floyd this. Floyd's going to destroy him. All that. Conor's not ready for this. It's a spectacle. I get all that. Get all that noise out of your ear. Get all that hatred out of your ear. And just look at this fight this way. Conor has the chance to physically fight to be the most famous athlete of all time. How cool is that, man? Whether he does it or not, take that out of it. We'll take the odds out. Take that. This guy's 49-0. Conor has the opportunity to physically fight to be, I get chills talking about this, to be the biggest athlete of all time. As you're listening to this, whether you're in your cubicle, whether you're at home, what you're doing, think about if someone came up to you and said, hey, you have this one opportunity Saturday night, 9 p.m., T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, to do whatever it is you do best. And if you win, you will be regarded as the biggest athlete of all time. That is what is at stake. Think of that, man. That's fucking nuts. And the guy 5 years ago was on welfare. And you guys want to hate on this fight. That's nuts, man. That's crazy. You have the one opportunity. How many people get this opportunity in life, let alone an Irish kid 5 years ago, welfare, with the same chick, and they have a kid? This is a success story. This is an inspirational story. So when you watch all the mainstream media calling this a spectacle, a shit show, get all that bullshit hatred out of your mind. Get all that noise out of there. And then just look at it as a human. Whether you're Team Floyd, Team Conor, Irish, African-American, white, American, Muslim, whatever the fuck you are, throw that out. And just look at this as a human being where one man has opportunity to beat another man who happens to be the greatest of all time, to be regarded as the greatest athlete of all time. And you guys can watch that on Saturday night. What?
I'm sold, man.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with all the time this hatred. I'm like, take all that out, man. This is so inspirational. No matter what happens, I don't care. And people, oh, you're going to be eating your words if Conor goes in there and gets outclassed. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. When have you ever risked something like this? Think about what he's risking. People, well, he's getting $100 million. He's already rich. Take that out of it. Floyd's already rich. Take that out of it. Floyd's risking a lot. Conor's risking a lot. So I don't care how this goes down. I keep on keeping on. Those guys keep on keeping on. It's these haters on the outside that are going to relish in the demise of Conor. There's no demise for either of these guys. What there is at stake is so inspirational. It's crazy. Knock all that other bullshit out of the way. Cut all that other shit out. This is so cool, man. Name another time you could see this. I guess Tom Brady going for 5 Super Bowls. That's Tom Brady doing that. You know, that's a team of 11 guys. There's a coach, there's a coordinator, there's defense coordinator. There's a lot of moving pieces. This is Conor McGregor. Got himself there. 5 years ago, welfare, same chick, kid. I don't care if you hate the Irish from England, from Africa, and you can't stand white people. Take all that out. You're witnessing a guy using his fist to capitalize to be regarded as the greatest athlete of all time. Soak that in. Take 2 baths.
Jeez, man.
What else you got?
Yeah, so the whole spectacle thing is ridiculous, I think, too, but whatever.
It's because, again, when you say spectacle and you look at the
money grab, all
you
that
look
stuff.
at the mainstream media, they have these blinders on. They have producers telling them you can't open your mind. Man, do you ever think, holy shit, you got this Irish kid who was dead broke 5 years ago, who's a kid now, who came from nothing, and he already has 3 losses. Lost in the UFC to a 170-pound man, Nate Diaz, who's also one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. He lost, bounced back from that. Oh my God, he has the opportunity to beat Floyd Mayweather? This is crazy.
I just feel lucky that we get to watch something like this, because I really don't, me, not the analyst, just a dude watching and loving, both sports now. Just watching this happening is freaking amazing. I'm so lucky to do it.
It's history.
I still don't know who's going to win. I don't.
Me neither.
So,
and people go, oh, bro, how sad are you going to be if Conor loses? I'm not sad. Sad about what? I'm going to feel the same way. Don't get me wrong. I hope Conor wins and does it by knockout for him and for what he represents, for what he stands for, and for the UFC and for MMA. I think it'd be great. I also don't want to see a guy who's 49-0, who's risked everything, who's taking a huge risk with Floyd Mayweather get knocked out like this. I'm torn, man. I like both guys.
Yeah,
I really do. Both of them have a lot to lose, but at the same time, I'm just to have that opportunity for them to do that. There's no losers here, man. There's no losers here. Oh, dude, you're gonna be eating your words. You won't get another gig. You've been riding Conor's dick so hard. You're so wrong. I have more gig offers than I can imagine, no matter what happens with this fight. And this is more than winning and losing. This fight represents more than winning and losing, more than what's going on with the drama in Conor's camp and the drama in Floyd's camp. No. It's so much more than that. What else you got, Jen?
All right, so Paulie's been everywhere, right? He's even been at the press conference here and trying to get, I guess, Adi Atara's attention. Mm-hmm. Well, that's one thing. Most recently, a video came out with him and Floyd Mayweather. I guess this is after Floyd Mayweather's final pre-workout.
On Wednesday?
I think so.
Yeah.
But the video came out, and it's just Floyd and him smiling, arms around each other. And then Floyd's like, this is my friend Paulie. Paulie called me and said, hey, man, should I go to the camp? And I go, absolutely freaking yeah, you should go. And then Paulie's like saying, suckers in the camera, yeah.
Like it was all planned. Oh, here's my take on the Paulie stuff. I like Paulie as a person. I think he's a great guy. You guys know this. I've had Paulie on the show many of times. I think what he's doing now is a little bit of a mistake, depending how you look on it. You know, I know the Showtime schedule. I know that on Tuesday at those fighter meet and greets, where the hell that was, the fighter introductions, Showtime wasn't doing anything there. There's nothing planned. So Paulie sought that out, went there, sat in the sun till that thing was over, and then seeked out Adi, I guess, and then Conor saw him. They had an exchange of words. So that was all preconceived. That was all premeditated, right? Now, if you see that scuffle, obviously Paulie gets taken off the broadcast stuff as far as this week goes, but he's still working on Saturday night. And then he shows up at Floyd's stuff and says, this was the plan the whole time, which I do not believe. I don't really believe that. I think it looks good now, and it's a good narrative and good story now. Just watching the video and seeing Floyd and Paulie going with it, knowing Paulie, I don't think that's the case. I think this just builds fuel to the fire for them to fight down the road. And I told the Showtime team this. I told Paulie this. You guys know me. I'm open book. I think it's a bad look what he's doing, and to have him to continue to do this and be part of the broadcast. If you want to trigger me, call this fight a circus. If you have a guy who, let's say it's true, he's on the inside of Floyd Mayweather, and he went to camp with Conor just to snitch on him to help Floyd out, then you have that guy on the broadcast, and you don't have a representative for Conor, and you have a whole Showtime team who works for Floyd calling the fight, then you have a circus of a broadcast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think you should take Paulie off the broadcast. I think you have to be careful. I think Paulie's a professional. I also think he's one of the best analysts in the game. So he should be able to not be so biased, but it's tough with all this drama coming out now. I just think it's a bad look. And the way Paulie looks, remember, I'm from the MMA side. The way the MMA side is looking at Paulie is a joke. They don't take him serious now, which is a bummer for Paulie, because, and again, I'm not knocking anyone for calling Paulie a joke or clown stuff like that, because if you don't know Paulie and you just look at social media, you just look at what he's doing, what he's saying, you kind of have every right to do that. And that's the problem with it, because I know Paulie. I've had conversations with Paulie. Paulie is a great dude, and most of the haters, if you sat down with Paulie, would love the fucking dude. He's just one of those guys. Yeah. He's actually a good guy. I think he sees a payday. I think he sees a big opportunity in Conor, and he's trying to capitalize on it. You can look at this one of two ways. Could risk him being on the broadcast for Showtime. It could possibly make Showtime look bad if he's on the broadcast and he's super biased and he's hating on Conor. Because let's say Conor gets starched or Conor gets outclassed, like Paulie thinks it's going to happen. Is Paulie going to hype up the fight and talk trash on Conor? So he could look bad there. So let's say he's done all this and he's setting himself up for the fight and he gets taken off the broadcast and he doesn't get the fight with Conor, which there's a million moving pieces in order for that to happen. That's so far out of everyone's mind right now that it's going to take a lot of work to even get there. Then what, Paulie? You know, although his fame level and his Twitter followers and stuff like that have gone up because we're in the soap opera right now and he's a main character. He's integrated himself as a main character. There's Floyd, there's Conor, there's Paulie. Those are the three main characters of this soap opera. That's how it is. Other than that, you know, you had Dana. Dana's on the side. He's kind of like that random extra that comes in. He's still part of it. Then you got Espinoza, same thing. He's kind of part of it. You're familiar with him. The main characters are Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, Paulie Malignaggi. That's how this story's unfolding. So for Paulie, the home run and where all this pays off, where he says take two baths to everybody online, all the trolls, the UFC, boxing, Showtime. Well, not Showtime because he loves them, but is if Conor makes the fight with him happen. Now, how does that happen? That only happens if Conor has a good showing against Floyd Mayweather. If he does not, there's no more boxing for Conor McGregor. We will not pay to see Conor fight boxing anymore. We just won't. Then, he tried that one and done, that game, that's over. I think that's another reason why people go, I told Paulie this, I've told Boxing Hype this, I've told everyone this. Well, why doesn't the UFC release the footage? Well, let's talk about that. Let's say that Conor has a good showing or beats Floyd Mayweather. His next opportunity would be against Paulie Malignaggi in a huge payday. If you release that sparring tape, and if Conor does as well as he says he did, and I've seen a lot of this tape, and Conor did very well. Paulie did decent too, but Conor had his moments, big moments that a lot of you see, and there's even more to it. So if you release all that sparring footage, you no longer have interest in that fight. It would destroy that fight because we've seen what would happen. How are you going to sell it now? And it's so new and current, you can't. So the UFC's being smart, showing highlights. And then depending on what happens on the Floyd Mayweather fight is if you get a Paulie Malignaggi fight. And I think for Conor, if he has a good showing, win or lose, the logic thing to do would to fight Paulie and soon. While it's current, it's relevant, you're still in this boxing world, you have the boxing's attention. Then opposed to waiting and making it happen. Or you make a deal with the UFC, which we will get to. I will get into that with the Jon Jones things and who it helps. Or you make a deal with the UFC, you fight Nate for a trilogy fight, and then shortly after that, you fight Paulie Malignaggi. But you have to do it fairly soon to keep everyone's interest. It's going to be tough to keep this fuel burning. I got to piss hard. Can we take a second break?
Go for it.
All righty. What else we got, bud?
Well, you have to talk about the Jon Jones incident.
Bro.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I want to do? I was so heartbroken. However, I had a dude reach out to me, a smart guy who is... that
knows about Turinabol, or?
Yes, who's balls deep in the potential steroid that he got busted for. So let me, I'm gonna give my take on the Jon Jones thing, and I'm gonna get into what exactly this expert said. I don't want to give his name out because I don't want him to get a ton of hate, but this guy's brilliant with this, and I had no idea about this drug that he tested hot for. What a sad story. What a terrible story. I was more upset for Jon. I was brokenhearted because you have the best mixed martial artist of all time, and he's consistently good at two things. He's very good at two things, and he's consistent with these two things. Beating people up and being a fuck up. That's what he's consistently good at. You know what? Let's add a third one and letting us down. We can always count on Jon for three things. Beating everyone in the world at light heavyweight and probably heavyweight. Being a fuck up and letting us down. Those are the three consistent things with Jon Jones. I'm off the Jon Jones train. It's such a heartbreak. Here's another thing to take into to consider, I should say. Since USADA kicked in, Jon has failed 3 out of 4 tests. The one test he did not fail was that OSP fight. Yep. He looked like dog shit in that OSP fight. Let's be real. And he goes, it's because it was awkward. I didn't risk anything. I don't want to show anything against DC. I'm not buying that. You want to get in and out as fast as you can and not take damage. So it just taints everything that he's ever done. Where do you rank him now? What does it matter? Imagine if you're Daniel Cormier. You're on vacation in Hawaii. You're at a low point in your life. You just got murked. You know you're never going to beat John. You get a call from Dana White, and he goes, John Piss hot. You're the champ now. What? What are we talking about? How the hell is he the champ? And then he can never beat him. What's up? You're good. We can edit this.
Sorry.
You're good. All right. So the whole thing. So imagine DC on vacation. You either call, hey, John Piss hot. You're now the light heavyweight champ of the world again. DC's only losses are to Jon Jones. I mean, it's just such a shit show. And my biggest thing with this too is the UFC needs a star like John. Name another star besides Conor McGregor than Jon Jones. And go, Chin. Go through the champs right now. Let's go middleweight. Bisping. He's not a pay-per-view draw. Okay. Not at all. Let's go to welterweight. Who's your champ at welterweight? Woodley. Not a draw. Let's go to 55. Your champ's Conor, but he's out, playing grab ass in boxing world, so he's out. So you have an interim belt of Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee. I love both those guys. Neither one's a draw. Mm-hmm. 45. You got Max Holloway. Not a draw. Again, I love all these guys as a fighter. They're all amazing athletes. I'm talking about being a pay-per-view draw. 135, Cody Garbrandt. Potential to be a next superstar. Looks the part. Knockout artist. Good-looking dude. Not a pay-per-view draw. Mm-hmm. Lower than that, you got DJ.
Not a draw.
We know where he's at with the draw. He's not a draw. So you have all these guys that are not a draw. So John being out, who does this help? Can you guess who I'm going to say? Conor McGregor. It puts all the chips in Conor McGregor's corner now, and he can go after whatever happens with Floyd Mayweather fight. When Dana goes, hey man, we need you to fight. He goes, very cool, but those old terms we agreed to ain't happening. I'm worth this much now. I'm the only player in town. What else are you gonna do? Now he has a monopoly on the UFC, which is hilarious to me. So now he can say, I need this much. And they go, we don't have that. Cool, I need a percentage of the company. So John being out now, being the pay-per-view draw second to Conor, really, who's left, him being out helps Conor so much more in negotiations. It's not even funny. So let's talk about what John tests hot for. I'm not familiar with this stuff. I probably wish I was familiar when I was fighting. I probably would have won more fights. But so I'm not going to say this guy's name because I don't want him to get hate. So he says, this gentleman says Jon Jones wasn't trying to take Turinabol. John has been hanging around powerlifters for a few training camps, which is true. It's a notorious drug in powerlifting. It's called Myaboladrone. It's a drug that is rumored to have driven Mike Tyson to orally borrow some of Evander Holyfield's ear. So that's the drug that made Mike Tyson freak out and rip his fucking ear off. Yeah. I think that had trauma, and his obsession with pigeons probably had something to do with that, but whatever. So this gentleman goes, why do people take it? And this is a credible source, people. It's very difficult to test for MIB. That's like the street name for it. Its half-life is measured within hours. It's out of the body extremely fast. The metabolites are even more difficult to test for afterwards. Most other drugs are detectable for months after. This drug is not. It's not a drug that is taken in milligrams. It's taken in micrograms, microdosing. So when guys microdose, it's because it's so hard to test. It's within hours. So if they test you right after, you can take it and you're pass the test fine. It's measured in micrograms. It's taken micrograms. So the levels in the system are extremely small because the smaller you take, the faster you can be out, right? It requires a very sensitive test. Often a dose of 200 mcgs is too much for some lifters to handle. Mike Tyson, don't take that much. Problem with MIB, it's impossible to find the real drug, but you can easily buy what it's purposely MIB via so you can buy like on the underground where you don't know what you're getting. Because it's not from a pharmaceutical company, you're getting black market shit, right? Yeah. So you're messing with fire.
Yeah.
So usually they're buying Winstrol, Dianabol, Turnabol, or Androl. Fighters that take real MIB never get caught. Lifters that use real MIB never get caught. So it's good stuff. They never get caught. The half-life is so short they can't catch them. Guys that get a bad supplier always get caught because it's cheap and it's mixed with something. So he goes on to say, what is MIB? MIB isn't a buildup drug. One dose will increase strength immensely for a short time. And its biggest proponent is increased aggression within 20 to 30 minutes like you've never seen before. The drug profile perfectly fits the narrative and timeline of a failed test of Jon Jones. If you follow Jon's training camp logic, he says, why take a build up drug before the contest? It's very sensible to believe them. But for those of us who know and personally use MIB, we know he was looking to kill DC and just got a bad supply here. MIB isn't a drug that Jon could legally get despite his resources. It's almost exclusively obtained on the black market. It's a risk all fighters and some lifters take, although most lifters do slightly more ethical thing and compete in untested federations with other untested athletes. Just a food for thought. Love the podcast. Thanks, man. So it sounds like in microdosing it'd be hard to pick up. But that dude is straight up dropping knowledge. I've never heard of any of this stuff. Again, maybe if I'd been a better fighter and took some of this stuff. But it sounds like that's what's going on here. And when Jon's team released, it's a tainted supplement, we don't know what's going on. I'm out, man. You've broken my heart too many times. Yep. I'm like that battered girlfriend. I keep coming back. I've had it. I'm out. No more, mister. I'm out. I'm off the Jon Jones train. Fuck that dude. What else you got, Chin?
But you know,
isn't that crazy though?
Yeah, you know, also kind of matches his kind of like his attitude outside the cage. Like he's really like spontaneous in bad ways.
Yeah,
kind of like matches up to that too.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
that dude just dropped some serious knowledge. And then Luke Thomas tweeted out a link on Reddit. I think it was Reddit of some guys who kind of know what's going on in that steroid world. It's an interesting read on this stuff. A lot of people are saying, you know, Jon's post-cycle treatment when he tested positive for the dick pills and said all that stuff, people who are in the know, I guess, were like, no, man, that's post-cycle treatment. So he's been doing this for a while.
Jeez, man.
I'm off. Not up in here, Jon. I ain't having it no more. You can't sleep in my bed anymore. What else you got?
Oh, well, let's stay with Jon Jones. Dana said that he was going to go against Stipe Miocic at UFC 218 as his next fight. Do you...
Oh, man, that'd been the greatest UFC fight of all time. Again, that's why I'm so brokenhearted. You're talking about Jon fighting Stipe for the heavyweight title. Look at the narrative here. So they were going to have him fight in Detroit as the main event. It's against Stipe for the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Let's say he beats Stipe, which would be tough, but I think he would have been the favorite there. Should have beat Stipe. So let's say he beats Stipe. And then next year when Brock Lesnar's suspension is up and he can fight in USADA, you have Brock Lesnar versus Jon Jones for the world heavyweight title. What? How cool is that? Gone. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm brokenhearted. God damn, the UFC needed that. God damn, did they need that? Those pay-per-view buys. You've broken my heart, Mr. Jones. What else you got?
How about the WC belt is supposed to be worth over $1 million.
Did you see that thing?
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Alligator band on it.
So nice.
And it has all the diamonds. Mm-hmm. And it says money fight on it. That thing is so sick. That's the coolest belt I've ever seen. Who made it? Do we know?
Let's see. It's got to be.
That thing is so fire. It's never been done before. Like I thought, I was thinking that yesterday. I'm like, God, before they showed the belt, I'm sorry, 2 days ago when I was working for Showtime, I went, God, what? Yeah, there's no belt online. That's weird. And then they bust that Sizzler belt out with all diamond crustaceans and that alligator band. Yep. My word, that thing is dope.
It's supposed to cost more than the Pacquiao Mayweather belt. I didn't know they cost that much in the first place. Though.
Yeah, they have they have those the diamonds all around. They're sick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that belt's amazing. I want one.
How about this? I don't know how much you know about this, but Dana White is slamming Showtime for their late notice about finding an Irish anthem singer. Do you know about this?
No, go on.
He says it was Showtime's last minute. They're like, okay, pick someone or find someone. It's in Dana White's eyes, it was supposed to be Showtime's decision. They're supposed to find someone, but they put it on Dana and his team afterwards, saying like, no, you guys got to find someone.
How late?
Like really late, maybe like a few days.
Like yesterday?
Yeah, like
go ahead and bring in Sinead O'Connor. Have you seen her video from the hotel room? Probably pass on Sinead O'Connor. Suicidal right now. Who else could you get? Bono?
He said he tried to get Bono, but
Bono wouldn't do it?
Last minute. Since it was such last minute, he couldn't get him.
God, Bono would.
But he said Bono would have done it.
Oh, bro. Who brought the bad news bear? We lose the Lesnar-Jones fight. Now Bono won't sing. Well, you got Demi Lovato singing the national anthem, who's a straight dime piece. So talented. I'm a little surprised by, listen, Dana White's one of the best businessmen in the world. So when Dana White assumes Showtime's taking care of something, I find that a little ironic, especially when you're Team Mayweather. You don't think you would want to kind of help out and make sure the Irish are representative of the UFC and Conor McGregor and Dana White? Like, why wouldn't you be more proactive in getting this done? How's that fall on Showtime? Obviously, Showtime, just being around this, it's a Showtime Floyd Mayweather biased production. That's their thing, man. They're in the Floyd Mayweather business. So for you to assume they were going to find Bono to sing him out is insane. For sure, make your connections and line it up for him. Wasn't the girl who sang a zombie? Zombie.
Cranberries?
Yes. Are they Irish? I'm going to get reamed if they're not.
I don't know. I think they are.
God, no Bono? You imagine Bono in those fucking yellow bowlies? I know. A cool jacket.
If he came out, I would flip out.
With all his kids? Don't they have like 30 adopted kids? He's saving kids left and right. Have them walk out. That'd be sick. Who else could you get? Drake was supposed to come. He's not coming, despite the rumors. You mark my words, he will not be here. He's in London. He'd be cool. I don't know. You could get someone like real hot in the street, like Little Yachty or some bullshit like that, but that'd be, again, a shit show.
I still don't understand that music. I'm trying to understand it.
You know what? We're getting old, Jen. You're 40.
I know. Still.
Little Yachty's not for you. It's just not.
How old is that?
Little Yachty?
Area?
I don't know. He's like 19 or something.
With the kids like 13, 14, probably like that, or like even like young high schoolers.
I don't know any grown man listening to Little Yachty.
All right. So Cranberries are an Irish rock band.
Yes. So what are they up to? They only have that
don't
one
know.
hit, though, don't they?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, I don't know. I'm not buying that. Sounds like they couldn't find anyone. Now they're throwing shade at Showtime. I don't buy that. But also, come on, man. We know how big this event is. You didn't think who's going to sing the for Conor? No one thought about that for his walkout song?
I know.
What else you got, brother?
I don't know how you feel about this, but so Freddie Roach is going to be in GSP's corner for his fight against Michael Bisping. Do you like that, or?
Yeah. Freddie's a great mind. I don't see George St. Pierre like really using his boxing expertise to outclass Michael Bisping. I see him grappling a lot. I see him sticking behind the jab. Other than that, so that's cool. I always like Freddie. I've always liked Freddie, but I find it the most interesting thing about Freddie that you bring up is Freddie has given Conor a good shot. Do you see that?
I did see him say that, but
which to me, but I think he's hating
he said
on
a
it.
Good shot, or he has a shot.
He said it's going to be a good fight. Where before he's like, it's a spectacle, it's bullshit. This is so easy for Floyd. Like, so he's flip flop, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. I don't hate on the guy. What else you got?
I had something here. A fight coming up. I don't know how you're going to feel about this. I think you're not going to like this, but Damian Maia versus Colby Covington for UFC Fight Night 119.
God damn, they did Damian Maia dirty.
Isn't that crazy? That's
it's a tough fight.
But Colby is coming up, though.
I know, but geez, the guy just fought for the title. Now you got to fight this lion and Colby. He's a monster, man. That's interesting. Maybe they're trying to set up the Colby Woodley stuff. Because didn't Colby come out talking shit about Woodley? Because they used to train together. I'm right. Yeah, I think Colby's the guy who tweeted out or blasted out. Remember when Woodley was like, Dana, I have some text. If you don't apologize to me, I'm
yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Colby
yes,
was like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
really? This is such MMA drama.
Yeah.
And Colby was like, oh, really, fool? Well, I have some stuff I'll blast out. If you blast out Dana's dirt. I was like, damn. Now Colby's fighting Damian Maia. Pays to be in the big man's pocket. Jesus Christ. Good for him, though. Colby's a savage, man. What else you got?
So the ringside doctors are actually concerned about Conor's safety during the fight with Floyd, yeah.
I'd rather have that than just everyone like, nah, he got this. No one's around. You know what I'm saying? I like that because, again, I keep talking about these X factors, and they're huge. The X factor is Conor going to be able to deal with the volume punching and the rounds, and as it goes on, how's it going to go down? If it goes down like all these kind of take two baths haters say, then yeah, you're going to need those ringside doctors there to make sure Conor's okay. The worst case scenario is something were to happen with Conor where it affects his health and his brain. That would be worst case scenario. Granted, both are going to get brain trauma. Come on, it's fighting for God's sakes. But however, we don't want to change the way Conor's career is headed. How much time we got?
It's 11:10, and they just pushed it to 11:20.
Oh, perfect.
Cool.
Carry on.
So JDS, ever since he got popped, he's off of the rankings now entirely.
Oh, that's what they do with guys when they get popped?
That's the first time I saw it, yeah.
Oh, wow. Damn, I said jack him off.
Jack him off.
Sorry, guys. Long day. Not really. That's a bad excuse. Sorry about the jack me off comment. I guess it's fair if you get busted, you should get taken off, right? It's not fair to rank a guy. Where do you rank John? Again, where do you rank John? Where do you rank JDS when they get busted? Where would you rank Brock Lesnar when he gets busted? You know, it's if they test positive for PEDs, so steroids, all the shit John's taking, whatever, you can't rank those guys because there's a huge question mark. Which fights weren't they taking it? Hate to tell you, if a guy gets busted, especially now, more likely than not, they've been doing it their entire career. You just don't start doing it. Yeah. It's like, oh, let me try it. You know, especially if you're Jon Jones, you never lost. You can start trying it now. If you're JDS, you know, he's been on fucking a rough road, man. You know, he should be taken off. And now Francis Gano is like, dude, give me Overeem, and I don't see anyone really vying for that spot to save the day. I'm sure they'll find some poor soul, probably some Russian dude who's like, fuck it, I'll take the payday. Francis wants the title shot. And when they told me that, when they told me, oh, Francis is looking for that title shot, when you think about it, who else would do it? Name who, you know, because let's say Overeem won't fight him, who just beat Verdum. That was a shitty win.
Yeah.
Kane's out for a grip. He's not ready to fight. Stipe's ready to fight, right? Obviously, he was ready to fight in Detroit against John. So do you put Francis against Stipe? Has he earned it? Not really. The lay of the land makes sense. I would buy it. You need a new pay-per-view hero. Yet Francis Gano looks like a goddamn comic book character. I mean, obviously, I guess you could mark him just as this intimidating dude, but you know, he's not going to knock your socks off in an interview or nothing like that.
Isn't Mark Hunt available?
No, Mark Hunt has a fight coming up. He's available. He has a fight coming up. You can't give him a title shot. He just got murked. Oh, no, he just beat Lewis.
Yeah,
he's lost to he lost to Brock Lesnar before that, but it's a roided Brock. He beat Lewis, who's ranked number 6. Not a bad idea, Chin. I'm not mad at that. I'll tell you what. Ooh. Oh, you're thinking Francis Mark Hunt.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
what I was
mad
thinking.
at that at all. Because he's supposed to fight that number 11 Russian dude in Australia. Let's go ahead and scrap that shit and have him fight Francis. That would be a huge win for Francis. That's a tough fight for Francis. That's a great fucking fight.
Though, huh?
God, that's a good call, Chin. Good job, man.
Thanks, man.
Proud of you, man.
Appreciate it.
What else you got?
I was going to say something about that. Oh, so Mark Hunt, you know how he's usually like really, really hard on people that get popped.
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, Jon Jones, he's really pissed off about. He's like, his stance on JDS getting popped is way more chill. He's like, let's just wait to see what happens. He feels as though there might actually be a mistake here because how great JDS is.
JDS wheel kicked his face off.
I guess he senses things in people, and I think we all kind of sense that JDS is like the nicest dude ever.
Have you met him?
No, but I see him in every
the best
interview.
guy ever,
yeah.
like literally the nicest guy ever. I'm not ready to hang JDS like I am Jon Jones. Jon Jones has a huge history. He's failed 3 out of 4 tests, for God's sakes. He has a goddamn problem. Yeah. JDS, never been caught before. Great guy. I have skeptical hippo eyes because he is on a bit of a drought. He's fighting this monster in Francis Gano. If he loses this one, it's probably time to go back to Brazil and start making acai and hopefully save his money. You know what I'm saying? So He has a lot on the line. So I have skeptical hippo eyes where I'm like, I can see why he would do it. I still don't judge him. I still don't think he's notoriously known for doing it before. But you look at where he's in his career, he's older, he's fighting a monster. I can see why he would do it, but I'm not ready to hang him yet because he doesn't have a history of it. So I'm with Mark Hunt on this.
Right on. Real quick, Nate Diaz is actually giving Conor some props, saying, you know, definitely don't count him out. I fought him for 25 rounds. He has like the ability to win this fight. Nate Diaz, of all people. Yeah,
but listen, then that's just warrior respecting a war. You know, Nate was in there. Nate beat him. Nate's landed some stuff. Nate knows what Conor's capable of, even though it was at 170, which, you know, I think they have to do that trilogy fight to see who the real 155-pound champion is, especially out of those two. I like it, man. I like it. I would like more if the MMA community, gather around Conor and give him more respect, which I think most are.
I said 25 rounds. I meant 25 minutes.
I know what you meant.
My bad. So Showtime exec also says he's chilling on the fact that Mayweather versus McGregor will break the pay-per-view record. But he's saying because he doesn't want to ever jump the gun on stuff like that. Yeah.
You mean he's not dramatic like me, where I guarantee stuff? I still think he's going to break the pay-per-view record. I'll be honest, though. Being here, seeing, ticket sales, there's still a lot of tickets left. I think they fucked themselves, man, because they didn't use StubHub. They jacked the price up. They said, remember when the news came out, minimum ticket, $10,000. So if you're an Irish person, and you're coming over here, you're like, oh my God, I'm not even going to look at tickets. It's not even going to make sense. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. I still think it's going to be a huge pay-per-view event. I can guarantee it'll still be top 3 of all time. I in my heart of hearts, I do think it's going to break the pay-per-view record as long as the system doesn't crash. Even against Pacquiao Mayweather, the system crashed, which is an issue. Hey, man, you've had 3 months to prepare for this crash, so let's for sure make sure it doesn't crash Showtime. So I'm the guy who's going to go out on the limb and say it still breaks the record.
Real quick, let me say this. I told you that when I was on the plane, I was sitting next to a bunch of Irish people with flags on and everything.
Love it.
Who said they're fans of the show, fans of you.
Love it.
On the plane, it was Carl, Jimmy, and Donald.
What's up, Carl, Jimmy, Donald?
And in the Uber.
Not very Irish names, right?
Right? But when they say it sounded super Irish.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But when I got an Uber carpool, the people I was in the carpool with, Irish fans, flags, everything. Oishim and Brendan, those guys. Anyways, those guys, I was asking about the fight. So they came here from Ireland,
yes.
Right? They went to the shows in Dublin, too.
Oh, my show?
Yeah, your show in Dublin.
Nice.
So it was freaking awesome to see that. But they came here from Ireland, but they're not going to buy the tickets to the shows because it's too expensive. So they're here to be here.
That's the thing. The market on this fight has screwed the ticket sales.
It sucks. They're going to the weigh-ins, but they can't afford the show. And they want to be at the show so bad, yeah.
Here's another sign that shows you that they've kind of shot themselves in the foot. Pay-per-view number, I still think they do well. However, the hotel prices when this fight was announced were 3 times higher. This week, they've dropped 3 times lower. Because they've just outsourced. You know what I'm saying? Like the market, they've made it seem like it's, which it is, the big spectacle ever. It's $10,000 minimum price. The belt's worth $1 million. Crocodile skin. We're going Sizzler. Celebrities. LeBron. Drake. So everyone's like, shit, I might as well not even go. So they've kind of screwed that up.
That was a bummer to see that they flew all the way from Ireland to be here around the area where Conor's
I'm telling you, man, if Conor wins this thing, you're going to get an earthquake in Las Vegas. If he drops him, they're still going to be celebrating. Like, I don't know if you ever saw the scene in Madison Square Garden when Conor beat Eddie Alvarez, but I mean, they shut the city. They had to stop streets. They literally had to cut off streets. Not that there was no crime or anything like that.
No, the most passionate fans.
They go nuts.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You guys all set? All good to go?
I got to do an interview with TMZ now and talk about my dick pic bet. That's my life, y'all. No, I'm sure they'll be asking me other stuff. My mom saw that dick pic article on TMZ and she was not happy.
Not happy?
Yeah, I have a mom too, goddammit. I have a mom just like you guys. She's not pleased sometimes, some of the words I say. Today's going to be interesting. The schedule is TMZ thing, changing my suit. It's my favorite suit yet. Busting out just for this. I have the worst blister on my foot from those goddamn Gucci loafers that I was talking mad shit about. So I can't wear them today. It's a bummer. Anyways, so I get put that suit on and I go down to the arena. I'm doing a piece with Showtime. Should be on the digital side, just talking about the fight, the event, and I'm going to interview fans as they're coming in, which should be. Hell, it could be a complete shit show, and it might not come to light ever if the fans are too crazy, or it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I like to hope it's awesome.
If it's like the shows, it's going to be awesome.
True.
Yeah. So
as long as they're coherent and they know what they're saying, we should be good. So that's the schedule, and then I do the weigh-ins, doing a post-fight show. Not sure when this is out, but tune into that. I'm sure you guys see me on there. And then tomorrow's a big fight, which I'm excited for. And then I think we're gonna try and do a 2-part series. So we're gonna blast it out now, so you guys have it before the fight happens.
Try, definitely.
And then tonight I have Luke Thomas on, someone who knows the game very well, and we're gonna be talking to Luke Thomas. I'm supposed to have Roy Jones Jr. on as well. Our communication was just shitty. Our schedules didn't match up, so we're gonna have him on for the Triple G Canelo fight. So we're not having him on this week, but that's the plan. Part 1 now, then we'll release part 2. You'll probably get it late in the night with Luke Thomas. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys. Man, special episode of the Big Brown Breakdown. It is 9 o'clock on a Friday night. Luke Thomas broke his plans. You're probably getting ready to go to Tao or the Lavo or some crazy party, titties in your face. And
I came here right from the spearmint.
Floyd
right
Mayweather, the freaking, what's his place called?
Girl Collection.
Girl Collection. I appreciate you ditching Girl Collection to do a podcast in my hotel room, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
Yep.
It's late on a Friday. We
It's
are
late.
living that life some consider a myth.
About that life, son. It's been a long day, though. I know it's been long for you, man.
Yeah. You've been on Radio Row, you know.
Dude, yeah, Radio Row.
It was. So Wednesday it was interesting. Thursday picked up business. Today was an absolute shit show. I got there today, and Barstool Radio.
Yeah, those are my guys.
Dude, those guys are fucking hilarious.
They're hilarious.
They had at the same time, Michael Rappaport was there with a shirt on that said "suck a shit."
Yes.
Okay.
I saw him earlier with it.
Ice Cube was on the air at the same time at the same table, and Floyd Sr., who was challenging some 19-year-old white kid to box because the kid was part of the show, and he's like
His name's Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie.
You have the Mayweather or the Floyd
49-1.
49-1.
It was fucking hilarious because poor Floyd Sr., I don't like taunting him or anything like that, but you show up to Radio Row, you are kind of acknowledging that you're part of the show a little bit, right? You have to play ball. And it was hilarious. And he was like, "You don't know shit about boxing. You never been in a fight in your life." And he goes, "I'm 0-0, just like Conor."
I love that kid.
I was fucking dying.
That Robbie
laughing.
kid's hilarious.
He's
man.
quick on his feet, man.
He's funny. He's witty. He's funny. He's super into MMA, Star Wars, WWE. He's into that.
And they were all sitting at the table at the same time, dude.
Dude, Rappaport is just like, I don't know if have you talking to Mike Rappaport? Did you have him on the show?
A couple of minutes. Just
Good
bullshit.
buddy of mine, but he's like, he has one tone, man. It's like
He's intense.
You have this symphony, and then just this horn comes crashing in. It's just like he's 24/7 all the time, man.
Yeah, he's funny. So he was at the table at the same time, and they were, and Floyd's wearing this like outrageous suit, and so it was wild. But then after that, man, it was just a cavalcade.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith, right?
Oh, they all came through, and then I had a bunch of boxers. I had Austin Trout and Amir Khan.
Damn.
And then Leo Santa Cruz. And I mean, the list goes endless, and you could just look around. I mean,
Everyone was there.
We actually ran out of airtime.
Jesus Christ.
We have interviews. We had to make it like digital exclusives because there's just nowhere to put them. So,
dude, it was insane. Even at the weigh-ins, because so we had to do some pre-show stuff for Showtime, and then we're at the weigh-ins and starting to fill in. It's packed, man. And we're to the side, like right to the side of the ring, and Showtime had me there. Draymond Green.
fucking hate Draymond Green.
Who's the
Paul
guy?
George.
Paul George. So
Yeah.
Draymond Green, Paul George, Amir Khan, and Floyd's like publicist, this old white lady,
Kelly Swanson.
is a nightmare to deal with. She
Really?
is just, oh my God.
Dude, she's been my savior.
Bro, she comes, she goes, whoa. We got to clear this out. We got to clear this out. And
When you say nightmare to deal with, what you're saying is she takes care of Floyd.
and that's it. But like everything will be cool, and she comes in like just panic, like, oh my God, what are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do with this? What are we gonna do with this? Everyone's like, chill. It's all good. There's enough room for Floyd and his entire steroided entourage. Like we're gonna get through here. So she comes in like a fucking bat out of hell, and she's
Is this
like,
pre-weigh-in or post?
this is right before Floyd's about to walk out
Okay,
and Conor.
okay.
And we're just sitting there chilling. Showtime has their guys there. I mean, it's Draymond Green and Paul George and me and Amir Khan. We're just chilling there. Oh, and Chance the Rapper, if you know who he is.
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
too old. I'm
Chance-
too old to know.
He's probably one of the hottest rappers in the game. Kanye West, Chance the Rapper. He's a big fucking deal.
Okay.
So we're all sitting there.
All right.
She's like, you guys gotta get out. And Brian from Showtime, I love Brian. He goes, whoa, relax. So you got Amir Khan, you got Paul George, Draymond Green, Brendan Schaub. She looks him right, and she's small, looks him right now. He goes, I don't give a fuck if Michael Jackson is over here. Get him out of here. And I was like, whoa,
Holy shit.
respect, girl. Respect.
she's just-
So we literally went to the side, but she was a beast. Before the press conference, I'm in the makeup chair. You could drive a tractor through the lane to get Floyd's entourage through there. She's like, nope, you got to go. You got to go. I'm in the middle of the makeup getting done before I go on air. She's like, I'm sorry, you need to pick this all up and go. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just getting ready to go on to do the show. I don't know what to tell you. She goes, I don't care. I go, whoa, it's going to be all right. What's going on here? She must just be used to like dealing with just frantic, just Floyd stuff.
Her and her people saved my ass at Mayweather-Pacquiao.
Really?
Because she's not there anymore, but for many, many years, she was based out of D.C., which is where I live. And I one time went over there. I forget what I went over there for. I had to think of for something. And I go on the side, and they had like posters for, because they did the Affliction show. Remember those 2 Affliction shows?
Yes. Those were actually pretty good.
Yeah, they did those. And I remember I went in there, and I must have like made a good impression, which is hard for me to do, but somehow I did it. And there was it's a long story, but there was a giant credentialing problem at Mayweather-Pacquiao. It was a huge fuck up. And she sent one of her people, she was like, okay, we're going to fix this. Because I covered Lamont Peterson and Amir Khan, and she was part of that too.
That's cool.
And they went down there right to the fucking credential office and made that shit on the spot for me.
Yeah, it might just depend how you look at it. Like I look at like everything's
if she's
all good.
If she's your help, shit.
She wasn't mean to me. She just comes in and it's just like, chill, girl. Like, we'll figure this out. Like, it's not that big of a deal, man.
She barks orders, dude.
Super orders. Yeah. And then so security come, and the security guy's like, oh, Big Brown, firing the kid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
awesome.
Where do you want me to go, man? They're like, you don't have to go anywhere. I'm like, I think I have to. Floyd's
So did you end up leaving?
We literally, like, the security made a place for us to the side.
Okay.
Literally, we just stepped behind and think it was all good.
His entourage he's always had these big motherfuckers, man. And it just gets bigger and
I feel sorry for him for being around Floyd as much as I have. And I really haven't said this on air, but like being around Floyd, like as in the talent meeting, I've been around him a lot, man. Before I haven't going on the press tour with him, then doing all this stuff this week. I just get this sense, like when you see Floyd, I think, I don't think of the domestic violence and that stuff before, and I know I see him as a human. When you talk to someone, even if you talk to someone who's a bad person, let's say Jon Jones, for instance, and if you sit down with him, you view him as, just like your boy, like just a human, you take all that stuff away. And being around Floyd, and when I see him up there, I see everyone just around him and, when the team money and all that stuff, and I feel bad for him. Because I just see everyone just sucking the life out of the guy, and they're all sucking off the teat. And I know he's created that atmosphere around him, but I just feel bad for him. And being around him, I almost, before I did this, obviously I've been pro Conor, but being around him, what I've seen and getting to know him and interviewing him, I don't want anyone to lose tomorrow night. I'm
really
that guy. I don't want anyone to lose.
Interesting.
I want Conor to do well and represent the sport.
Yeah, of course.
And land some big shots. And if he were to get a knockout, I'm not going to be sad. Like, obviously, I'm rooting for Conor. I keep, I'm sticking with my prediction where he's going to do well. But I'm that guy. I don't want to see anyone lose. Obviously, there's going to be a loser tomorrow night, and I think they're going to lose in devastating fashion. But I was thinking about today, I'm like, God, I don't want to see Floyd lose that O. I don't want to see Conor, for what he represents, lose that O. I just...
The thing about Floyd is I don't have a ton of sympathy for him.
I get it, man. I know. And I'm going to take heat for it too, but I don't know.
No, you don't want to see, look, you don't even want to see bad people taken advantage of. It's a bad thing is a bad thing. Doesn't matter who it's happening to, I suppose. I mean, other than there's karma, but Floyd's 40, you're right. If you haven't figured it out by now, man, good luck, I'm not saying I am worried about Conor because I have specific reason to, but all these guys who make big fucking cash, man, I don't think he does it anymore. But do you remember when Conor was first out? He was like, "Yeah, I spent all my money, but then I just replace it with the next check." I mean, that's literally like luxury check to check shit.
True, scary.
So what I'm a little more concerned about, Floyd, you've had your chances, dude. You've made some. I mean, the guy has made $1 billion.
It won't be $1 billion. He joins I think Jack Nicholson, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Arnold Palmer.
It's insane.
Oh, and Schumacher. He's the only other athlete to make $1 billion.
Conor's not yet 30. We've seen Jon Jones can't get shit together. I'm not looking at his bank statements. I'm simply saying in the abstract, I would like to make sure that Conor makes prudent financial investments because it'd obviously be good for him. It'd be good look for the sport. It'd be nice to see a fighter from our side make big cash and not fuck it up.
I wonder if he has someone in his camp who's helping him out with that because he's a smart guy. And I feel like when you
did you have a financial advisor?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you make a fraction of what he makes. I probably make a fraction of what you make, and even I have a financial advisor.
Yeah, you should have one. But when I was fighting, I started to do it towards the end of my career just for bullshit, just regular stuff. And then now, I make way more money than I did ever fighting, and I definitely have one now. Though for Conor not to have one would be insane. Just off interest, right. He should be able to live the rest of his life.
Someone gave you a check for $20 million? That's a responsibility.
Yeah. To
You know what
not
I mean?
fuck it up.
It's like a dog.
To not fuck it up.
You've got to take care of this.
Yeah.
thing.
Just like don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Like, have these guys help you out. And not
There's a
make
right
this
way to
mistake.
treat this, and there's a wrong way to treat this. And
You know what helps him is he's had the same girl, forever.
Yeah.
That helps, and he has a kid now, which
Yeah.
I think, knowing Conor the way I do, he knows he has a responsibility to that kid.
and you have a kid, you know
Yes,
what it's like.
it's a game changer where you can't be that knucklehead anymore. He might buy a yacht or whatever, but now that you have a kid, it's a little different. Yacht, or I should probably just save it so I don't screw this up.
Yeah, you would think. You would imagine, and certainly Audie is not a dumbass. He's a smart guy too.
He's a
so
smart dude.
You would hope he's got someone like that. But man, look. And again, I'm only speaking in the abstract. I've actually got Mike Tyson in the studio next week.
Oh, nice.
And he's hawking a book. And look, this is back,
And his podcast.
Yeah, and this is back in the day. That guy made $400 million back when $400 million, like nobody
right.
made that.
You're right.
And he burned through every red cent.
But Rogan and I were talking about Johnny Depp. He had, he's spending $2 million a month. $2 million a month
On what,
Jack
dude?
Sparrow spent $2 million a month on. His friend died and he wants ashes. This is great. Shot out of a cannon into the ocean. And they're like, it's gonna be $2 million. He's like, whatever it takes. On wine alone, it was $400,000 a month.
Dude, my man is getting.
His entourage was $700,000 a month. He had to
Are you
borrow loans.
shitting me?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Dude, what kind of wine is he drinking?
Crazy, isn't
it's
it?
like, bro, here's the thing about like drinking wine like that. Like, if you're just trying to get torn up, I'm not hating. Go get torn up,
I
player.
agree. I agree.
But if it's mere, like, for example, like if someone asked me, like, what's a good whiskey? Yeah. I'd recommend you something Japanese.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey man, we're trying to get fucked up, bro, pull over the Jim Beam.
Yeah,
Fuck
there's
you.
no reason.
It's transactional.
Especially
you
for
know?
him. Especially for him, it's like you're getting he's an alcoholic. You're
Yeah.
like, so it's like, does it matter?
Right.
Do you need to buy that 7,000 bottle of whiskey? Like,
You're buying fucking Argentinian Mendoza fucking red
weird-
wine
how-
for what, bitch?
it's so classic.
You should get some yellowtail and just fucking pull it up.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up. Do your thing, man. Like your taste buds can tell the difference. What was your takeaway from the weigh-ins?
So I was at the media center. My show ended like literally before the weigh-in.
So you missed most of it.
Well, yeah. I was able to watch it. I just couldn't. I couldn't go. I couldn't attend. But I went to Mayweather Pacquiao too. Pacquiao was totally non-confrontational. So Floyd was equally boring, I guess. I thought Floyd looked awesome. I thought Conor looked a little bit sucked out.
A tad.
Not 145 sucked out.
That's a different level.
But I was at UFC 205. He stepped on those scales looking like fucking Hercules. You know, he was a little bit less than that. But someone asked me, like, what do you make of that? Nothing. I think he's going to win or lose on boxing or whatever approach he's taking to the fight.
Correct.
Not
the weight cut. He's
not
been
the
there
weight
before.
cut. He's got George Lockhart. I'm really not worried about him. But I thought, here's the funny thing about it. We talked about, like, we had all these boxers. I talked to so many boxers in the last couple of weeks, and hey, what Conor fights did you see? Oh, I caught the Aldo fight on Instagram and shit.
Oh, the 13 seconds.
Yeah.
You learned a lot.
Yeah, you really, boy, way to hit the books.
You really did your research.
But, I got to be honest, on the MMA side, we dislike Floyd so much because of who he is and because we don't watch boxing in the same way that obviously a boxing fan would. I see a lot of people clouding their judgment based on dislike of him. And it's like, you've got to understand, this is fucking Darth Vader. He is a bad person, but when he swings the swords, people get
amazing.
chopped to pieces. That's
He's
who he
amazing.
is,
And this is my other caveat with that. And again, I'm obviously still pro Conor, but I think with Floyd, he doesn't get hit. And when he wants to go forward and make it count, he has that ability in the Zab Judah fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Conor does get hit. And I think that my takeaway also with Floyd in his interviews, he goes, we know you can dish it, but can you take it?
Right.
Can you take it?
Right. They know he's not defensive. That's not his best thing.
Yeah, being defensive isn't his thing. Out of all his striking, that's probably the lowest for him.
Right.
So, which is scary going this fight against Floyd. Not a lot of people are talking about that, but even the Aldo fight, he got hit. He got countered, got hit.
Yeah.
He had just ended a bigger punch.
Yeah.
Chad Mendez, obviously the Nate Diaz, both fights he's been getting hit. So I think that's something to mark there. I also think I feel a different vibe from Conor this fight.
You think he knows his back's against the wall on this one?
A little bit.
He seems chippy.
He seems chippy. Not that the stage has gotten to him. He seems I don't know. He's confident, but he seems a little nervous, more nervous than usual.
It seems to me like so he was barking in Floyd's face, and I don't even read too much into that, to be honest. I mean, if you want to, I guess you could. I'm not, I don't know, but Floyd calms or cools a cucumber, but normally when Conor does hit that shtick, I think it's part projection, part because he absolutely believes it, part entertainment. It's a lot of things. But there's always this response where you can look around externally and people are buying it. Yes, there are doubters, of course. That's part of the show too. Yeah. But you could be like, oh fuck, he might be onto something here. And then you talk to the boxing crowd, they're no sold on this shit, dude.
No,
they're super no sold.
Yeah,
they don't buy any of his games.
They think it's ridiculous
at all. Fuck all the noodle arm shit. All that talking, they're
not buying it. But they don't know the background,
right.
the history.
So who's wrong here? Who's wrong here? We're gonna find out on Saturday.
They are for sure.
You
know what I'm saying? Just because.
No, what I mean is this is a literal thing that happened to me today. I interviewed, a dozen boxers today, and every one of them thinks it does not go the distance. Every one of them thinks, to varying degrees, not one predicts it less than the 8th round. Okay? So are they completely clueless? Potentially. We've talked about this. All I'm saying is I think Conor detects that, he has his back up against the wall in terms of something to prove. He literally does, right? I mean, he's the one.
Which is the most dangerous Conor you can get.
It absolutely is. I'm not expecting him to go in there and fold. When the lights come on, dude, he fucking shows up.
I was trying to explain this to Paulie and the Showtime guys. I said, the stage cannot get big enough. They go, once he's up there, I'm like, I'm telling you, you could have Mike Tyson waiting in the wings to come out, and the stage cannot be big enough.
Here's what I will say. Does he have cardio problems? There's some evidence to indicate that, but I still think it's not super strong.
I don't feel like that's a fair judgment. Again, and the boxing community goes, he gassed out against Nate Diaz at 170 against a bigger guy who is rocking with power shots.
That's why
if he lands those amount of power shots on Floyd, it ain't going.
That's why it's inconclusive to me.
That's the X factor, and I always say this fight's built off X factors of Conor McGregor. It's the only sell, and the sell on that X factor would be his cardio. After 6 rounds, after we see both game plans and how they're going to fight, and they really get into the fight, can Conor go those 12 rounds? And if anyone who says, I guarantee it, they're full of shit. I imagine at Conor's level, being the elite mixed martial artist he is, he's prepared to go 12 rounds. He's been going 12 rounds as Paulie. He's had people coming in. I had a conversation with Paulie off air before this. We got into it on the broadcast a little bit, which I knew we would, and I love Paulie, but and he goes,
it's been a big week for Paulie.
It's been a big week. Oh, I got news for you too on that. Okay. We'll get into that. And Paulie goes, Brendan, this is the thing about Conor, and this is where the boxing community just doesn't get this. He goes, his self-belief is going to screw him because he thinks he's this amazing striker and he has this knockout power and he has these crazy angles and footwork. And I'm like, he does. And he's like, but he believes he's the best. I went, Paulie, that's why he's here making $100 million and all the other boxing communities watching him. His self-belief is exactly what got him here. Whether he's right or wrong, that's what got him here. And he goes, yeah, but he's going to learn in there tomorrow night that he's wrong. I go, maybe. Or he really thinks he can beat Floyd. And for the first time in 49 fights, you have a guy going there actually think he can beat him. So you have a fight on your hands.
Yeah. Did Guerrero really think? I don't know.
Did Berto?
Yeah, did they really think? Here's what I think. I think it's actually a little bit of both. I think you're probably right, and he's probably right, which is to say, not only has he willed himself to this point, but I also feel like, okay, so let's say 6 rounds deep, it's just not going well for him. He's getting tuned up. Maybe let's not say exactly that, but he can't land shit.
He's getting outclassed.
Right, he's getting outclassed. So what happens then? Does he stay focused and really put it on him? I think that's one way to look at it. Or does he get frustrated and then Floyd absolutely steps on the gas on him? I think tomorrow will tell us the answer to that. Again, I also think that is inconclusive. I don't know that Paulie is. Paulie knows Conor better than I do, I guess. But I think tomorrow will be an interesting character test for him.
I agree.
Because I do think
more so than ever.
Because here's what I would say. Even if you think Conor's going to win, I know some folks he's going to KO him in the first round. All right, maybe. But probably at some point, if you're reasonable, you're probably thinking he is going to face adversity in this fight at some point.
Guaranteed.
At some point.
I guarantee it. Everyone listening, there will be adversity.
So let's see how he handles that. That is going to be a big,
because we've seen how Floyd
test.
handles it, and he answers that bell.
Fucking amazing.
The best in the world.
Right.
And the thing that makes Floyd so special is, let's say Conor's being dynamic, lands some good shots, but doesn't put Floyd away. Floyd's game plan does not change. He never deviates from the plan, no matter what. He stays on course and constantly beats you at your game.
Let me ask you brought up Paulie. I'm fucking dying to know this, okay? So you saw that video yesterday of him and Floyd arm in arm, and Paulie is looking like a Bensonhurst fucking cab driver. Fucking.
How about today we're doing the broadcast and Floyd goes, Paulie, I'm going to do this for you. I dedicate this fight to you tomorrow night.
Okay. So
I went, you two got to stop.
Okay.
I said, you two got to stop.
I get to my hotel room last night and I flip open the laptop and I'm looking at this and there's Paulie going, suckers.
Suckers.
Right. I'm like,
Suckers.
Paulie, stop. You're not in a rap video. I like you, but please stop.
Suckers.
And then Floyd's saying what he's saying. Now, here's my thought. Did he send him out there? Did he not send him out there? I mean, they invited him, so whatever. In the end, it doesn't matter. But do I think he might share intel? Yeah. Dude, should he be on a Showtime broadcast? I don't know what the answer is. I don't work in TV, but like...
Brother, I've been dealing with this all week.
What the fuck, man?
It's a tough spot for me, right? Because
I know. I'm not trying to put it on you either.
No, you can't. No, I'm done with Showtime. So I shouldn't say. I'm going to continue to work with Showtime after this big fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing some box stuff with them. We have a cool announcement.
Good. Yes.
It's all good. But as far as the Floyd-Conor fight, my work is done, so now I can comment on it.
Yeah.
So we had a meeting on Tuesday after Paulie got into the scuffle with Conor, and we're in a meeting, I go, you know you can't have him on there, right? Like already the public thinks this is a circus. If you have Paulie on there who has a straight vindictive kind of outing with Conor, and he's been in his camp, he's this close, you can't have him commentate the fight. They're like, no, we're just going to shut him down for the week, then we're having him on the broadcast. I go, now you got a shit show on your hand. And my guy who I'm dealing with is literally like, Brendan, chill out. And then so I'm sitting there. It's just not my style to pipe down. I've never been that way. And they keep talking about it. They go, we just won't put him on there, won't say anything. I went, nope, can't have that. And they're like, what do you mean? And I don't know these guys. These are the big time dogs in Showtime in their suits.
Yeah.
I go, you can't have that, man. I go, you guys are going to get clowned on social media. I have my ear to the ground. I'm younger than anyone here. I know how the social media game works. If everyone knows what's going on with Paulie, and I hate you, and Paulie, I love you, but in the MMA community, he's the clown. Like everyone's making fun of him. Those are the people that are buying your pay-per-view to make this bigger pay-per-view all the time. So if you just take him out and assume no one's going to notice, you're making a huge mistake. A huge mistake. And then today, you know, obviously Paulie's talked all that shit, and he blasted that tweet out about Floyd, and I'll get to that. And they're getting ready to do the broadcast. Well, that entire arena is Conor McGregor fans.
Of course.
So Paulie's trying to do the commentating, and these Irish guys are like, fuck you, fucking snake, you fucking rat, you weasel. And he's just trying to ignore it. And they're like, you fucking rat. And then Paulie goes, fuck this. Takes things and goes, what the fuck you say? The big dude, and the guy goes, I said, fuck you. What are you going to do? He goes, I'll beat you up worse than Conor did. Get the fuck over, you little weasel. And Brian, it gets in front of him. And Paulie goes, oh, we'll see. And he goes,
oh, no.
Spits on these Irish dudes.
Oh,
and then it's just free for all.
Dude.
And they had to get security. These guys waited for the entire staff afterwards. But everyone was fucked besides me. Oh, you're good, John. I'm like, I'll see you guys around there. Yeah, it's, you know?
Dude, Paulie is something else, man.
The one thing I do.
Good and bad. He is.
The one thing I
else.
do appreciate is, you know, the Espinoza for Showtime, super loyal, and he rides and dies with him.
Yeah.
That I can appreciate because
Yeah,
most
absolutely.
guys would not. So when they told me that, they're like, Espinoza's super loyal, man. You know, and they think Paulie's going to be professional. And I don't want Paulie taken off the broadcast. If I didn't know Paulie personally, I would have went on a huge fucking shitstorm and just been like, you got to get him
The thing is, you know this as well as I do. Okay, dude, in terms of like boxing analysis on
He's
TV,
a monster.
he's fucking awesome.
He's brilliant.
He's so good.
He's brilliant.
But here's what I'm worried about. Like
He gave me a whole count of the push down. He literally, I'm exhausted. We're both in suits. We have pictures of it. He gave me a 20-minute breakdown on how it was a push down and not a knockdown.
Dude, okay, so I was
like, no, I get you, man.
Dude, I get to the media tent at like Tuesday at like fucking, I don't know, like 9:30 in the morning, and apparently I just missed Paulie, and I see Ariel and Casey. Casey's his videographer, for folks who don't know. And Casey's a good dude, Ariel's a good dude. So I get over there, and I was like, hey, what's going on? You know, shooting the shit. And they're like, you just missed Paulie. I was like, oh, fuck. You know, I wanted to get an interview with him. And he was like, dude, he spent 30 minutes explaining why it was a push down and not a knockdown.
Same shit. I was like, no, I could tell he's done it before. I'm like, no, I get you, man. It's cool. We'll figure it out.
You know what's amazing about him, man? Like, dude, he will knuckle up, man.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the power. I never did, but like, well, I'm just saying, boxing. He's not known for that.
He's not
but
powerful.
fuck, he is not
He's
a
ready to
pushover,
go.
dude. Like, you could say, oh well, McGregor tuned him up. and maybe I don't know why he left camp, but dude, like he's not. Paul Maldonado is not a pussy, dude. He is super
He's
not.
two-time
Man.
world champ. He's a beast.
He's a fucking tough guy.
I will say this from my sources who are super close to that sparring session. Conor did kind
Tune
of
him
put
up,
it,
yeah.
Paulie had his moments.
Yeah, I believe it,
But
yeah.
this was my argument to Paulie. I went, Paulie, you fucked up. Let's say Cain Velasquez wanted me coming to camp, and I get off a plane. Cain goes, "Hey, I need you 5'5". So, ain't happening, brother.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you out.
5'5" with Kane, great.
Yeah, that's really happening. No, I'm giving you 2 rounds max. If I got maybe 1, I'll come back next day, give you another, give you a good look, then circle some fresh meat in.
Yeah.
12 rounds, they're setting you up for failure, man. I said, so that's your fault. And then Paulie on the broadcast, we were getting into it, and we get done. I went, Paulie, you want Conor to have a good showing. If you want that fight that you keep harping about and you're hoping you get, you need him to have somewhat of a good showing. You don't want to be him to get outclassed in 6 rounds like you're saying. You want a good showing. Otherwise, your huge payday goes away. You need him to do well.
And I'm a little worried about the broadcast too, because let's say he does well, will Paulie verbally honor that? Or if he does poorly, Conor does poorly, how much will Paulie throw gasoline on the fire? And that,
I try to take
that
myself.
that would be bad for Paulie. That would be bad for Showtime.
I think it's a bad look for Showtime, and I've expressed that on a number of ways as much as I can without.
Look, they're going to make their own. Look, they're going to do what they're going to. TV is. People have these ideas about certain things and they ride them out. It's hard. Change in TV is glacial.
Change in TV, change in boxing
is glacial,
prehistoric. It's just that you got me, and I'm very I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very passionate. You're not going to tell me a narrative. Like if Conor's getting beat up, I'm going to give you that. If Floyd's doing well, I'm going to give you that. But I am biased towards Conor to do well, but I have no bias to shit on Floyd. But what you have right now is an all biased boxing panel. It's all by Showtime guys who want Floyd to win.
Who was on the panel today? Because in the media center we had the ESPN feed.
So you had Morrow, Brian, Al Bernstein, Paulie, and then they worked in Pat Milicic.
That would be fair, right?
I don't think Pat is working tomorrow night. I was surprised Pat was on the broadcast. That's a whole nother thing, but
you know how it goes, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, Yeah.
Pat's a good guy.
Pat's a great guy.
If someone gives an opportunity, I don't hate on him for taking it.
At all.
You know
If I'm Pat, I would have done the same thing, man.
Exactly.
I've done the same thing.
Fuck Brendan Shaw.
Yeah, man. It's been interesting, man.
So you're done,
I'm learning a lot. Yeah.
As far as this is concerned, yeah.
As far as this is, I think so. They gave me, I have second row tickets to the fight and
Holy
press credentials.
fuck.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, I got, so they're taking care of me, but
You got 2 tickets? What'd you get?
2 tickets.
Oh, man.
My thing is I'd be lying if I say I was a little broken heart because I've worked my ass off for this, and I've done a lot of persuading and stuff like that, and it's been a home run for me, and getting to work with Showtime after this.
You did not take an L on this one. Don't worry.
But the Grand Slam was to work though. I wanted to work that fight, and it just they have these older guys who are like, we want a boxing.
It's tenure,
man. It's boxing, and we want a boxing analyst team on there.
I hear you, man.
And I get it, And I talked to Rogan about it. He goes, bro, you got to understand something. Those guys have worked together for 6 years. So for them to toss you in, they got to figure out that dynamic, He's like, I could have told you they were going to pull this.
Thing is, man, I don't have, I was never a fighter or anything like that, and I was on a show briefly on Spike TV, and I knew once I got there, man, I could look around and I could tell, like, fuck, this is an institution.
Yes.
And to get invited to an institution is hard. To stay is even harder.
Yep.
Especially as their priorities change and sometimes leadership changes inside there. And dude, you know as well as I do, fuck, man, like in MMA and boxing, there's a lot of talent out there for TV in terms of like people who could do the job.
Tons.
And there are no jobs.
Yeah.
There are no fucking jobs, man. And it is hard. It is fucking hard. So for me, I'm sure, obviously, it's cold comfort for me to be like, chin up, little camper.
Get your ass up there and shut the fuck up.
Dude, imagine if you didn't have any of this shit. Imagine if you weren't here tonight. Imagine if you didn't go on so well.
I agree, brother. No, I'm
really got to count your blessings.
No,
in this line of work, fuck.
I agree, and I'm fortunate to the point where I don't need any of it. I don't have to.
Exactly.
This is all I see on the cake.
This is
No, but if it was different, where I needed that gig to pay my bills and put food in my son's mouth, then I'm figuring I got to figure something else out.
Well, then you have to fight Milicic in the street at that point.
Yeah, then it's just an old duel, and he probably whoops my ass. He's a UFC Hall of Famer, right?
I know. I bet old Pat can still fucking throw the
I don't want anything with Pat. Hey, Pat, I love you, man. So I don't want any of that.
No, I hear you, but like, man, it was the big revelation for me. It was like, this was 2012, and I just remember when that show was canceled. I was bummed, but like I was like, I don't know what I think that's it for me. I don't know. You know what, man? And this is why like it's just I can't cry about it. Like there's in the catalog of people and MMA trying to do it in media, and I would classify you certainly more than media, but part of what you do is to an extent media, not journalism. Media?
I'm not a journalist. Yeah,
no. Far from no.
Yeah,
media.
that's like you and Ariel to me are journalists.
Yeah, but you're a personality. You're the people identify with you, and you have a face. Yeah, and you're on TV for fucking Christ's sake. There's a handful of jobs, dude. Even fucking Ariel's not on TV right now. And I mean that may not be permanent, but I'm just saying if fucking Ariel's not on TV, I have no prayer.
Different. You guys are different. You guys are different. You and Ariel have different qualities.
Totally.
If I'm Ariel, what I would do is start looking outside the box. Start looking at doing other sports if I want to get into.
So that's what I'm doing. Like just naturally, my show. If you listen to it, it is the tagline is MMA, sports, and pop culture. Like my base is my base, and I will never leave MMA, and that's what it is. But like, there is if you hold the keys to the kingdom in MMA, you dictate everything. You dictate everything. And I don't feel like anyone can even have keys to the kingdom in NFL or NBA or something like that,
I, after going through TV and my experiences with Fox, stuff like that, I'm so grateful for podcasting in my comedy career because I don't have, if I don't have anyone tell me what to do. Dude. As far as if this gig doesn't come, I just keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
No one controls that destiny, which is priceless, man.
And dude, your shit is like, oh my God. I mean, I don't want to say like I'm surprised by the numbers because I think it's garbage.
Yeah.
But dude, the number, I don't know how to explain this. Like I've known you for so long.
Yeah.
That when you know someone, it's not that you don't think less of them, but their fame becomes more impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had a friend from high school who had your numbers on a podcast, you'd be like,
what the fuck?
You'd be like, oh shit, John Smith or whatever the fuck their name is, Go, good for you.
Bill.
Yeah, what the fuck?
How the fuck did
you
this
cheated
happen?
off me in Algebra 2, you fucking loser. And now you have fucking $1 million an episode? Go fuck your life, you know? And so I don't mean it.
Fuck you, Bill.
I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying, look around.
Man.
It's like holy fucking dude. I'm in the podcasting game now. My stuff's really narrow. In MMA as it stands. So I know what numbers mean. I know what they translate to. And so like for me, it's like I look at your numbers. I'm like, inside the MMA bubble, there's always these. There's fucking haters.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you would fucking kill to have Brendan Schaub's life. Suck my balls. You fucking clown shoe.
Come on. This is what I think makes you different than a lot of guys, and people need to tune in. And it's not your job to market it better, but your breakdown videos. Like I sent you that thing. I need to blast out when you did the YouTube video breaking down Floyd and Conor fight. We got the experts talking. But even when you do the videos, if you break it down, whether it's a Damian Maia choke or something like that, your breakdowns are what make you different.
I try to. Well, in that case, I only focus on. There's a lot of stuff that happens that I'm like, I don't really know what that was, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But the one about the boxing, I know fuck all about boxing.
That shit was good.
Here's what I felt, man.
Help me out with my analyst.
Yeah, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all those guys. Here's my thought. Everyone's like, this fight's a joke and blah, blah, blah. And like, okay, man, there's obviously some elements to this fight that are a little farcical. We can all admit that. But I asked readers for, like, give me some technique questions. And the technique questions started pouring in. And, dude, they were good. They were like, why doesn't stance switching work in boxing?
Yes.
That's a great question. But I don't know how to answer it. So I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I went to all these coaches in MMA, and then we had Lamont Peterson's a guy out of DC who was a WBA world champion.
Four-time champion?
He was, this is the second time he's champ. It's the same weight class.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the pack was the.
He's a stud, though.
Was the Khan 141? I can't remember. In any case, he might be two-weight world champion.
Multi-time world champion.
He's a fucking good boxer, right?
Yeah, there you go. He knows how to fucking box.
Yeah, and his trainer, Barry Hunter's trained a lot of guys, including a lot of people out of the amateur system, so he knows, like, he was talking to me about how Irish fighters fight different than Czechoslovakian fighters, all this stuff. And I was like, these are great answers. So then I just started compiling it, so it had nothing to do with me. It's a testament to the fact that, like, I feel like so much of MMA is like, in this fight, you didn't get so much of this, but like, even in Conor fights, is so-and-so and so-and-so's head, man, fuck off.
Correct.
Can we make a fighting argument about this? Why are you watching this shit?
But the reason why that's dope is because you had the creative idea to get all those masterminds together and put it together the way you
Thanks,
did.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, yeah. I was trying. I have fun with it,
Brandon
too.
Gibson was good. Peterson was great.
Dude, shout outs to Stephen Wright. Can we give him a moment on
Yeah,
air?
he was good.
People don't know this guy.
Stephen Wright, he was Johnny Hendricks guy, right?
Correct.
My God, he's good.
He's amazing.
His teeth are distracting, but he was so amazing.
Okay, I'll leave that alone.
No, before I
like him
get
a
hate,
lot.
I love him too. But I was like, what's up with this tooth?
Dude, you know what's amazing about him is I followed him on Twitter. He's only got 1,000 followers on Twitter, and I followed him. I forget exactly what the genesis was of me following him or whatever. And he would not commentate, but like live tweet glory events or anything, like anything striking.
Just break it down.
And you'd be like, holy fuck, this is amazing. And actually, I went to his gym. He invited me out, and I have a video piece in the works. I haven't been able to put it out because the summer's been insane.
Who's all his fighters?
He's got his own place called War Room MMA. Kamaru Usman trains it with him a little bit. Jinyu Frey out of Invicta trains him a little bit. He's got some other ones as
He's
well.
a stable, but I'm surprised he doesn't have bigger names.
So he was with Team Takedown, and he was with Mark Lehman, and
they separated.
And Johnny, yeah. And so when that fell apart, I'm not sure exactly how.
Was the Big Rig Steakhouse kind of the start of the downfall for the Big Rig?
Hold on,
Talk about investments.
Did you ever
The
see
Big Rig Steakhouse?
I want to get to the Yelp reviews. I just want to say, Stephen Wright, like no one really knows about this guy. And
He's a brilliant mind.
He is absolutely incredible. Now, as for the Big Rig shit, I felt bad for him because
The Big Rig
because my family is in the restaurant business. You know, they have a restaurant.
Restaurants and gyms, the worst businesses you can
Well,
get in.
they're killing it. They're doing just fine.
Your family is.
Finally, after years of not making money, now they've turned the corner. They kind of figured out the secret sauce.
What kind of secret sauce? What kind of restaurant is it?
Here's what's funny. It's Elevated American.
What is it?
You have to see the menu. It's hard to explain.
Just give me like an example though, so I can.
Okay, so Elevated American. The chef is Asian, so they'll make hanger steak.
Hey man,
Hold on. Let me finish. They'll soak it in miso for 24 hours and then cook it.
that sounds delicious.
Sounds pretty fucking good.
All right, so it's like a hybrid.
So, but the way they make money is, I think they make money off their food, but they opened up the bank next door foreclosed. The fucking bank foreclosed. Right.
That's
That's
a bad
during the credit crunch.
Yeah.
And they bought the space, and then they opened up a bar inside the restaurant.
Alcohol
Printing
all
money.
day.
Printing money.
Tight move.
That's how they did it. That's
Tight
basically,
move.
they were like, if it wasn't for alcohol sales, I don't know.
Tight move.
People, that's what I'm saying. Johnny Depp rolls up in there, $2 million a spot.
Oh, you're set.
You're
Get
good to
Johnny
go.
Depp in there, some alcoholic, famous alcoholic.
Dude,
you're set.
I went there and I was pissed at my family because I was like, I get a discount. They're like, fuck no, you don't get a
Like,
discount.
hell no, how do you think we're making money, man?
And I go, all right, it was right around the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
I was like, give me a mint julep, bitches. And they gave it to me and I had one. And I look at them,
$16.
$15.
That's fucked
I
up.
was like, my sister and my brother own it. I'm going to, you know what? Dine and dash.
Fuck you. Charge me.
Fuck all. What are you going to do? You
what-
fucking going to call the cops?
What would they do? Yeah, what would they do?
All right, but I paid it like a loser.
Hey, speaking of another mastermind, have you talked to Mark Henry, Frankie Edgar, and
Yeah. I
Eddie
have
Alvarez?
so I have a segment on my show called I didn't come up with the name, but I actually like it. So every Friday, what we try to do is have like a coach or somebody who's got like a real intricate mind. I try to do this on the radio. I shouldn't do this because I don't think it's good for radio. Radio, people want to hear fucking what Stern puts out. But anyway, it's called Brawls Deep.
Brawls Deep? That's hilarious.
So I try to get a coach on, and I have Mark Henry on all the time.
He's brilliant.
He is.
I worked with
super
him
awesome.
for my Crow Cop camp. And
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked with him for my
knocked-
Crow Cop
you knocked
camp.
Crow Cop out.
I sure did. I wish I stuck with him. Probably wouldn't be doing this. But we were in his basement. And I'll never forget, I was barefoot. And he goes, let me just see you move around. Let me see you move around. And just move around in shadow box. And then he gets out this notepad, old school yellow notepad, and just starts writing. He's like, keep going and visualize your fighting Crow Cop. Let me see the game plan. Because I was probably halfway through camp. So I'm going through it and doing my thing. And next thing I know, he has 8 pages of notes. Just front to back, 8 pages, just nonstop. And he just had all this wealth of information.
It's like a beautiful mind.
I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm kind of confused. And then he broke it down, started hitting mitts. And
How intricate were your game plans? Here's what I mean when I ask that. I've talked to some fighters and they get super specific. I've seen some that have kind of like a skeleton for a plan. That's what they thrive on, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me, it's good and bad. It's what helps me now in my post-fight career. But I would study so much film. I didn't bank on my instincts. I would like my last fight against Travis Brown. I knew with my back against the cage, he threw that left kick. 75% of the time he's going to throw a kick. So I'm going, all right, that left kick's coming 70% of the time. The left kick, and I know his left hand's here. He's doing this. He typically does this. Instead of reacting to what I'm seeing, I'm constantly downloading. So I was a step, slower than he was. And it ended up hurting me. It's also a sign of intelligence, though. I was also terrified in the back. So being afraid before you fight another grown man in the cage in your underwear is a sign of intelligence. So I think it actually helped me post-fight career, but I would study too much film. Like, I think you should leave it up to your coaches. You should know what you're dealing with, the animal you're dealing with, but you don't need to break it down frame by frame and know all the percent and stuff like that. So my coach go, I think we should do this. And I go, do you? And then I would look at it and go, I agree here, but I think we should do this, and I would break down all this footage.
Tripped you up?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it made me, because before I didn't do that. When I fought Roy, well, obviously I lost, but
that was still early in your career.
I'm the Ultimate Fighter. Like I never did anything. I didn't know anything, but I just did. I just went and used my tools and stuff like that, and it ended up hurting me, I think, down the road.
I had Roy on the show today.
Did you? How's he doing, man?
He's good. He has a new logo.
Oh yeah.
He has a big country logo. I didn't know if he was telling the truth, but it sounded like he was telling the truth. You never know some of these guys. They could just be having fun with you. I'm not suggesting he was lying. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just that was he just playing a joke. But he says he's in talks with Sizzler.
Damn, I didn't know. First of all,
that is that. Yes, please.
For two things here. I don't know in LA. So it's Sizzler still in business, and if you're gonna sign Roy Nelson to a huge deal, I don't know if that's the smartest business move.
What? He's like your best spokesperson.
Is he? Well, I guess I didn't know Sizzler's still around. I feel like Burger King should sign Roy.
Burger King would be better. I agree, but I don't know if Burger King's interested.
Hey, look, can you move your phone away from the cable real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, man.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, Roy, he's in Bellator now. So I sat down with Scott Coker. I had lunch with him in LA, and he's like, "What do you think, man?" And he's like, "Matchups." I went, "Hear me out, Scott. I need this in my life. I want it for Roy's first fight, but he's fighting some other dude in September. Yeah, in San Jose." Mm-hmm. I said, I need this in my life. I need an old school Pride poster. I need Roy with his gut on the left. I need Bobby Lashley ripped to the right. Old school poster. Like that Pride monster.
The Japanese, you know what I love about the Japanese?
How sick would that be?
It would be amazing. And the Japanese, man, it was like, it's like I was having this discussion with another journalist yesterday who's also Asian who completely agreed. Hear me out. Because I know we have an Asian in the room. Hear me out for a second.
No, I just go hashtag no racist.
No, I'm not going to be racist. Here's what I mean. America has its race problems. There's no denying it, right? After Charlottesville and everything.
Especially now, right now.
All right. But we're not the most racist country on earth. You been to Japan?
Yeah,
whoa. Racist as fuck.
Towards other Asians.
Towards anybody not Japanese, dude.
Is that real, Chin?
I'm not Japanese, man.
No, I know you're not, but you've been to Japan?
No, I've never been to Japan.
You've been to Korea, though.
But I think Asians in general, they're kind of like...
They only like their kind.
Yeah, okay. I can't speak for China.
They're critical of other kinds. They're super critical.
Well, dude, how about this? How about Bob Sapp going to the Tokyo Zoo on national television? They promoted this. They asked him to go and taunt gorillas at the gorilla cage.
All right.
And then hand him a pile of bananas to do it.
Oh, my God.
And this aired
That's the most racist move of all time.
I mean, all was missing was the people in Charlottesville with the tiki torches cheering him on.
Hey, but Bob Sapp, don't do that.
Yeah, dude. But this is back when the Pride, the Kakatogi boom and all that.
And he was making
a buddy of mine just got back from there, and he was like, well, first of all, it's amazing. The food is incredible. Like, everything. He's like, dude, you could eat off the floor in the subway. That's not how clean it is. But he said he's Iranian, but he's not, he's completely Americanized, and he's small. He's very little. He's a little dude, and he's like super, he dresses well. And he makes a lot of money, and you would not peg him for like, off the boat, fucking blue collar Tehran or something, And he lives in New York City, and he works on Wall Street. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And he said he went there just for vacation, and he rode the bus. He's like, hey, I want to ride the bus in Tokyo. And he's like, dude, this bus was packed like a motherfucker. And he gets on it, and he sits down. He said women to his left and dudes to his right all got up and moved away.
Oh, my God.
And so he goes, it was standing room only, and he was sitting.
Damn.
No one to the left or right of him.
Damn.
How shocking is that?
Definitely not going there.
Yeah. No. They weren't mean to him. Like, if you ordered food, they gave it to him. If you wanted a hotel room, they gave it to him. The concierge was friendly.
That would hurt my feelings.
Dude, you understand? They only let in a certain amount of foreigners each year.
Oh, that's
like,
true.
it's hard to stay in Japan. Like, they've got attitudes about themselves and how they want the other world to be interact with them, and they're limited about it.
That's so interesting.
So like we have our problems where it's white versus black, but in Japan it's like all of us versus all
Fuck
of
the
you
world.
bitches.
Japan versus everybody.
Yeah,
That's their shit.
y'all are vermin. You need to get deloused. Here's a Bible. Don't touch us. It's like going into prison or some shit.
Yeah, I don't need that, man. You know who I had a great conversation with today for a long time was Sean Shelby.
I love Sean Shelby.
You know,
I'm not supposed to say that as a journalist, but like I do.
I've had a handful of conversations with him, but a long time ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago when I was fighting. And then I saw him tonight. I'm like, what's up, man? I never know how UFC people.
This is the weigh-ins.
Yeah, I never know how people are going to react to me from the UFC. But I've gotten nothing but. I think it's my own.
You're a little paranoid about it.
Yeah, I am, but maybe because of the Dana stuff, But everyone else is awesome. Ed, Reed Harris, everybody, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's been great. Scott Ratner. What's his first name? What's Ratner's first name?
Mark
Ratner.
Yeah.
Everyone's been great, man. And so I saw Sean Shelby. We just had a deep convo just about everything, and I was like, dude, how about your boy Jon Jones? How fucking
Don't
about
tell this story
Jon
if you can't.
Jones?
Because I talked to him a lot, including about Jon Jones. Those are all off the record conversations.
I agree. A lot of it's off record, but he was just like, I'm a chatty Cathy, so I know this, and I know if you tell me something, if you say off the record, I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
obviously not a journalist either. So,
Yeah.
but it's nothing. I just told him, I said, heartbreaking, man, and I said, you know who loses in all this? I'll see John does.
Everybody.
I said, the UFC, you guys need a star so bad. I said, let's go through it, Sean. Who's your star? Who you got right now?
Yeah.
Name a guy who's a pay-per-view draw. And I went through all of them. He goes, I get it, man. You're right. I said, and you know who it helps out more than anybody? And you're right in that column you said tonight about what's next for Conor.
Yeah.
I said, when Jon Jones tested hot, this put all the chips in Conor's corner. Because now he's the only cash cow in town. So you want him to fight under those current terms? You're crazy.
Wow. Holy
You're
shit.
crazy. No one thought about that.
Was he receptive to this, or like admitting of this, or?
He was just going, God
Yeah.
dang. He's going, dang. I went, think about it, man. If you're Conor McGregor, now you're like, you want me to fight Nate Diaz or Khabib in Russia, which he was like, that's, Conor did say Khabib in Russia, that's what he wants to do, eventually and stuff like that. I went, he's not doing that. There's no way he could do that for a number of reasons with Khabib, and I went to that with him. But I said, the amount of money he's going to be able to demand now, man. Because Jon Jones, it has this butterfly effect.
Totally does. I was saying this on the MMA Beat a couple times, and I remember back in the day, certainly during your participation days, when you'd have a pay-per-view that did not so great, 250 or something, which is not terrible by normal standards, but by UFC standards,
Not good.
Is typically a little lower. But there was this like cadre of people. They could not do $1 million. They would never do $1 million in their lives in terms of pay-per-view buys, but they could easily do above 500,000, above 6, above 7. In John's case, above 8. They both Cormier fights did above 800,000.
Yeah.
So I call it the upper middle class. Conor and Ronda, they're good for $1 million, right? Or Ronda's gone, but you know what I mean?
Every time they're good for $1 million.
They're
Brock, good for $1 million.
Basically good for $1 million every time. And then you have the guys who are not. But dude, if you can get guys who are selling 750,000 pay-per-view buys, you're printing money.
I agree.
You're
But
printing money.
name someone right now.
Nobody. Who the fuck? Nobody. He came back and looked like $1 million, 30 years old. You thought, okay, all right, whatever happened in his life, I don't know.
We don't care either.
Yeah, and the best part is, did I think he had it all figured out? I thought he had it figured out enough to like keep it shit together.
Enough where he's still gonna be able to do strippers and dick pills on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to do some of that, but
Out of competition, not in competition.
Yeah, you're good. I didn't think you were arrogant enough to do this. And I did a podcast there today, and I had a freaking dude reach out to me who knows the stuff he tested positive for and went through this whole thing on what it is and why you take it and the short half-life, and it makes sense that he would test positive after, not before, because of this. And this type of steroid you get, it's so hard to get pharmaceutical grade.
Turinabol?
Yes, it's so hard. So it's usually power lifters and stuff like that, and you buy it in bulk because it's cheaper. And he was breaking all down how a lot of times that stuff can be laced with other things, and you think it's going to be out of your system, and it ends up just fucking you. He goes, it happens all the time. That he had a list.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I've talked to some people who have used before, and they're like, those tainted supplement excuses? He's like, well, first of all, those can be true, But apparently, among the people who buy steroids, you can buy steroids, and those can be tainted.
That's what
with other
that's
steroids.
what Homeboy was saying.
Yeah.
He's like, you think you're buying this, and and they think you're fine, and your half life is this, and it should be out in hours, and it's gonna make you super aggressive against Daniel Cormier, and you're gonna come out and you have Superman strength and beat his ass. But then if there's something in there that's chopped up and that maybe you don't know what factory it came from, you're gonna test hot.
Someone asked me like what I think of it all, and like the answer is I don't know. There's two ways to look at it. One is that you caught him with the more jaundiced view, the negative view would be that like, okay, you caught him with post-psychotherapy stuff, the clomiphene and the letrozole, right?
You're talking about his previous
right.
one.
Yeah, you caught him with that, and then he has his suspension, and then again, the jaundiced view would be turns right around, test positive for a steroid. So what do you think that means? Someone on that argument would be like, this dude's been obviously using. The other argument could be exactly what he presents it to be, which is that he's not a cheater, but he might be negligent and irresponsible.
Listen, man,
and the answer is I don't know what to think of anymore. But here's what I do know.
That last answer though is that's a little too.
It's plausible, but how probable is it?
Here's the other thing. The argument with that is since USADA's kicked in, John's failed 3 out of 4 tests. The one test he didn't failed.
Well, the coke thing I don't give a shit about. Honestly.
I don't either. But a failed test is a failed test.
Yeah,
but I get it's not
drug
PEDs.
recreation.
However, he looked like complete shit against OSP, where he didn't test hot for anything. Cocaine.
You don't buy the
steroids.
argument that like it was this late switch? And
Not at all.
Really?
Not in the least bit. He should torch that dude. I've been in the training room with OSP. Been in the training room with Jon Jones.
Is that right?
He should torch that dude.
Interesting.
So when I see that and I saw that lackluster performance, then you go, all right, well, that's the only one he
He'd
did
also come
fail.
back from a long time off from that one too.
He came longer off, right? Against DC
he
and
looked awesome.
beat the shit out of
He
him.
looked awesome against DC. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. Here's my only point is I don't know what to think. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I don't know shit.
I'm not either.
I don't know.
But being around professional sports, a guy who keeps like JDS, right?
Yeah,
I'm not ready to hang JDS.
Me neither. Me neither. We have actually seen a lot of dudes be like the supplement industry is not regulated. Barely. Okay. It is technically regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, but they mostly test for manufacturing standards. They don't test your shit.
No.
Right? So it is absolutely very plausible that you can have a tainted supplement. And that could be very well the case with John. I don't know what the answer is, but I agree with you with JDS. All I'm pointing out is with John, like whether he is completely guilty of everything that the negative side of the argument would be, or whether he is absolutely needs to be exonerated, whatever the answer is, what I do think is that after UFC 214, right after it was over, I was like, dude, he might be like a real redemption story. Even if he exonerates himself now.
It's still, that ship's sailed.
The ship has sailed. The full redemption story is
over.
not possible
Just play
anymore.
the bad guy. Imagine if you're DC. And this is worst case scenario for DC. I don't know why it makes you laugh, but let's say they go.
Because you're a cruel fuck.
I'm a bad man. So let's say they call DC like, listen, John tested hot, bro. And the commission's give him 6 months. So you're going to have to fight him again in about 6 months. And probably going to lose again. So you're gonna have to not only get your belt back, but we got to go through this all over again.
Fuck.
How terrible is that?
Dude. And the best part is
That's
like,
not winning.
well, even here's a very likely
Because he's never beating him.
Yeah.
It's just not in the cards.
Well, the best part is like after what happened, and I say the best, I'm using that word quite loosely. He gets concussed.
The best.
Fucking cries on national TV. Here's your belt back.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Oh, our bad.
Like
He
what
was
is
all
that?
sauced
Like
up.
what is that supposed to mean to you?
I know.
Like.
But if you're DC, it's like, all right, he's the only guy I've ever lost to. He's obviously a steroid user. Those should not count. But in the public's view, and the reason why, and I don't understand it, but DC gets so much hate because they're like, you're not the real champ.
Dude, how can you?
This guy kicked you in the face. Then we saw him take you down before that.
On the one hand, it's like I don't know how anyone could possibly hate DC. It is so.
Me neither. I do not get the
I've been
hate.
interviewing this guy for as long as
He's
been,
the nicest guy.
and he's smart, and he fucking stays out of trouble.
He's amazing. He's a good dad.
The only thing you could be mad at him is like, okay, do you train a little too hard and get injured? All right, you're almost 40.
Yeah, he's almost
cut
40.
the guy a fucking break.
I thought he was going to retire after this.
I thought so too.
He has a cush job.
I had heard he was considering. I had heard that if he had lost, he was considering heavyweight.
I like that for him too.
But my understanding, they didn't say this explicitly to me, but the way they kind of said it was they thought like, yeah, well, if he loses, he might go to heavyweight. Almost suggesting like he's not going to get knocked the fuck out. Like if he just loses another decision like the last one,
But
and now he gets knocked the fuck out.
well, and then John's going heavyweight. He's like, I'll stay down here.
Yeah.
You're going to fight Jon at heavy? You know what I'm saying? And then what else broke my heart, and maybe it's why I'm lashing at Jon now, is Danny goes, yeah, we're going to do Stipe versus Jon in Detroit.
I was there. I think I'm the one who, in fact, asked him that question.
I saw, I retweeted that and said, you broke my goddamn heart, Jon.
Dude. That I was like
that was a dagger.
You want to talk about not needing a dick pill?
That's
Boner City.
That's a fucking fight. Dude, my heart was like, oh,
Jon Jones versus Steve Miocic. Are you fucking kidding me?
I think Jon's a favorite in that. I think he probably beats Stipe.
Dude, Jon, if the Jon we saw at 214, whichever version that was, if that dude's fighting in the UFC, good luck because you're going to need it.
I agree. But I've seen Jon with my own eyes, and I've been beat up by him destroy heavyweights. World-class heavyweights. Yeah. Like, fuck him up. So I know how he's going to do at heavyweight. So him versus Stipe, I'm like, oh, my God, he's my favorite. Yeah. He's going to win that. Then you imagine him versus Brock, Madison Square Garden, something like that, 2018.
Pants around the ankles.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That's all gone.
I know. Dude, it
is a nightmare. To
we're all kind of sitting here
Ozdemir Gustafsson.
Dude, we're kind of basking.
Ozdemir's like, bring it.
Dude, he's a nice kid.
He's great, but... Hey, 70 Twitter followers.
He put the beat down on Manimal. I was there for that shit.
No, he's a monster.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Though. You know, like, who is this guy, right?
You can't. It's tough to
He's
market.
Swiss. He likes chocolate.
It's time. Right? It's time.
Yeah, dude. I was talking about this. Like, it's like who. This. We're basking in this glow of this week because it's so fucking big, and everyone's like, "How big is this week? It's the biggest." Oh my god!
Perfect time for Jon to make this news. I think.
Well, here's my point. Look, especially if Conor loses, at some point. This is all MMA is going to turn back into a pumpkin after this, right? After this week, and then we're going to start facing the reality of we got to fill this calendar. Who's going to fill this calendar? You know what I mean? Like all right now, we're all right now having.
We're on borrowed time right now.
We're having this orgy right now. Thanks to Conor. Thanks, Conor, for fucking over this orgy.
No, everyone's on ecstasy right now, and then you're going to get that dopamine drop, and you'll be depressed as shit after this fight.
And we haven't hit that yet. Everyone's sad about Jon Jones. You're not nearly as sad as you're.
We haven't dealt with that. Yeah.
Wait till they start booking around his absence again. You're going to be like, fuck. Dude, I really thought after 214, I was like, okay, we're turned a corner.
Baby.
Yes. We're going to have GSP come back. And I thought,
how dare you?
I thought even if you fought Gustafsson, I'm all in. You know,
I was all in.
You know what I mean?
But wait till they book DC versus Ozdemir. And you're like,
dude, you're hating on Ozdemir.
I'm just saying, I love Ozdemir. I'm just compared to Jon Jones, Stipe, Jon Jones, Gustafsson. You know, that's what we're gonna be dealing with. Dude. People are just like, oh wow,
oh god, it's gonna be a barren fucking coverage.
With the UFC, the stars, you know, they always come. They come. I think they just put all their eggs into these baskets, and they were really banking on these people to sell. You know, and they did sell the UFC, and that job well done. But now they're standing there with their pants around their ankles, their dick in their hand. It's like, oh, we really didn't put. Focus on anyone else. You got Amanda Nunes is a great story.
She was here this week, too.
Yeah, she was here this week. I think Kevin Lee has all the star potential in the world.
I love Kevin.
I'm also a huge Kevin Lee fan. I think
he's got a big fucking mouth in the best way.
He looks great. He's from Detroit.
Yep.
Talks the part, has the skills.
Young. Yep.
Young. I think if he could get past Tony Ferguson, which is a tough fucking fight for him.
Right.
If he can get by Tony, there could be something there, but you still got to build that.
Yeah.
They should be building his story now.
Yeah.
Like, just don't wait for him to become champion. Like, oh, he is good. Here we go.
The thing is, man, like I had a buddy of mine who has he's a historian of martial arts in Brazil, and one argument he's made to me
martial arts in Brazil,
dude. It's like he has a academic degree. Like he did a dissertation on 1920s Vale Tudo.
Jesus Christ!
And he has been an argument. He's a casual MMA fan and. A little bit more of a boxing fan, but he knows a lot about obviously MMA as a consequence of
Brazil for sure
research. Yeah. And what he has said is that he's like, you've got to understand something about the fight business. He told me this years ago. He goes, it is very, 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 very much boom and bust, very much boom and bust. There will be long cycles, yes, and every sport is like that to an extent, but it is much more pronounced in fight sports. There are moments of explosion and then contraction, and then big explosion and then contraction.
Boxing too.
Yeah, boxing's the same way. Any kind of fight sport.
I had this discussion with a UFC brass years ago. I won't say who it is. And he goes, we decide who the star is. We make the star. The league is bigger than the star. I went, I'm telling you, could not be more wrong.
Yeah, how's that working out for you this week?
At the time, I was fighting too. And that was not a good look telling the big
Dude, they were full of piss and vinegar when you're fighting. They're much more laid back now.
Just the conversation I've been having with people. Everyone's cool.
They're still they've blackballed a couple guys like Josh Gross and Jonathan Snowden and some other ones. I don't know if they're ever going to let that
from
go.
Josh Gross in forever.
He's on Twitter.
Is he still alive?
Dude, he wrote a book.
Oh, damn. On
good one.
MMA?
Actually, on combat sports mixing, when Ali fought Inaki. And it's actually really
Good
fucking
timing.
good. Yeah. No, he put it out, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago, something like that.
Good timing.
But those guys are still blackballed, and that will fuck up your career, man. I mean, Josh has rebounded quite nicely. He also writes for The Guardian. Like, he's doing fine.
How do you get blackballed exactly?
Dude, you report on shit they don't like. And the best part is, you don't really know exactly what that's going to be. You
Report
know
on what? On like purses and Reebok deals? Like, what don't they like? I'll see Ariel leaking the Brock Lesnar stuff.
He didn't get blackballed. I mean, temporarily, and then they rescinded it. But it's weird. Like, you know what got Jonathan Snowden? I'm told that sometimes it's an accumulative thing. You can never get quite the right story. I was with John earlier tonight. He should absolutely be re-credentialed. But I think it was UFC. I could be wrong about this. I think it was UFC 174. You have to double check the numbers.
I fought on that one.
Was it really?
Did he write a good story on my Arlovsky fight? And they're like, you know what? You're out of here.
No, I think, did DJ headline that card?
Yeah.
Okay. So he
And
wrote
people were walking out of the arena after
So
I fought.
he wrote an article ahead of the pay-per-view being like, here's why you shouldn't buy this card. Dana saw it and lost his fucking mind about it, and look, I'm not saying you can't get mad about things. Do I expect Dana White to read this and be like, no problem? I expect him to get mad. But I can tell you, I've covered boxing for a little bit too, much more MMA, obviously. The boxing promoters, if they get mad at you, they just call you fucking names.
Yeah, they don't ban you because
They don't really ban
covering
you.
their event is still good for them regardless.
Media sparring with promoters in boxing is like an old
it's
part
what
of
they
the
do.
show. Yes, less than
not
super. Why I'm
174.
not buying UFC 177's incredibly inadequate
Yeah, that
card.
hurt my feelings, Snowden. 174. How dare you? Arlovsky Schaub sold that thing. I'm sure it had more to do than that. I'm sure it wasn't just that one thing, though.
Could be.
It could be.
What about Loretta Hunt getting, talking about, to what extent managerial or managers are intimidated and influenced? Does anyone think that's not real anymore? Of course. I mean,
She got banned just for that one article.
Again, it's hard to know. I'm not in the mind of Dana.
For Era, I feel like it was a number of things, though. No. Okay. You want to stay away from that?
No. Look, I'll defend him completely. Like, again, if a promoter has a problem with you, I won't say who it was. I had an interview with one person at Strikeforce, and Strikeforce called me up, livid, dude. They were fucking livid.
But they didn't ban you.
They didn't ban me.
They don't want to
we
ban
talked
you.
about it. I explained my position. They explained theirs. I understood it. They gave me shitty credentialing seats, but. Fine, whatever. Like,
see, I think
it's not the end. Do you think that really article really affected the buy rate? Do you really think it really he talked about the fight being the card not doing well
maybe
because it was never going to do well.
Yeah, maybe 7 of Snowden's friends didn't buy it after reading that, but in general, I don't think it would affect the pay-per-view.
And I'm not here to say that media doesn't have an influencing role. Of course, it does.
Definitely do.
But you got to. And it's hard. Look, it's hard to be criticized and not be sensitive about it. It's a difficult thing, but.
I think imagine if the NFL did that or the NBA did that.
The NBA's teams have done it on occasion. So some guy, I don't know if you can Google this. Some guy wrote a book. I think it's called "The Whore of Akron." It's about LeBron.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And I think the Heat are like, you can take that to another sucker.
That's another level, though.
Right. I mean, the whore of Akron.
Come on, bro. Take it easy.
Yeah, is that what it was? Yeah, I'm not
I-
sure he wrote. That guy can't get credentials.
See, I think with like Roger Goodell, Stern, all those guys, it's one of the reasons why the UFC got so big because Dana's passion and his leadership.
It's what makes him successful to an extent.
To an extent, it also that ego hurts him a lot of the times. That pettiness of banning a guy like that, or being upset at me for whatever reason. Still, it's that pettiness what I think hurts the growth of the UFC.
But see, this is what I mean. Dana White made a ton of money
for $100 million.
I mean, yeah, as much as Mike Tyson made. That's how much money Dana's made, right?
Making more than Conor's making tomorrow night.
Yeah, right. And so you have that much money, and you took UFC Global. And there's some kind of establishment now in MMA as a consequence of his and the Fertitta's efforts and everyone else's, right? Like I think he kind of figured out he won. Dude, if Dana White didn't win, who did? Right? He kind of won. So I think at that point he let out, he pressed the brake. But there was a moment there when there was the IFLs and the Elite XCs
where he needed to be like
where he
that.
was super aggressive about that stuff.
Which is what you need to do to get to this level. And Bruce Springsteen said this in a documentary. He was saying how Jimmy Iovine, the guy of Beats by Dre, and he produced all this music.
Yeah. I saw the Defiant one.
Yeah, he was talking about Jimmy on there, and he was just saying how, he had the same attitude, like dog eat dog and had this crazy work ethic. He was up every night, and he goes, and then he got success. He made his money, and he was able to shed that and be present and not, shit on people and not be relentless. And like he was able to change his ego, which is so hard to do. I don't think Dana's been able to do that yet.
I actually did work years ago.
Maybe he has a certain extent. He's not as, crazy. But
I'm sure he's still rough around the edges. He's still going to be who he is to an extent. But it's interesting. I've in a previous career, I worked for a company. I can't say who it is. It's a clothing company. People would know it quite easily. I'll tell you off the air.
Yeah, people are gonna figure it out.
I can't say who it is. Well, no, they won't from this.
Oh,
but it was a company that started out like a little bit mom and pop and just blew the fuck up. Like when they were there at their peak, dude, they were everywhere. Hip hop people were wearing it. Not even that. Like it was commercially available in retail stores everywhere. But the problem was they had hired us because the problem was they had created a culture from those days where everyone was like, they had to rent their own equipment and they're shipping their own shit, these turnkey kind of operations. And it had created a culture of like where executives browbeat and humiliated inferiors and everyone was shitty at everyone. They expected you to work on Christmas and they were like, how the fuck do we like untrain ourselves? And they wanted to help they asked us to help them with some messaging. And it turned out they couldn't do it. They actually couldn't do it. They took all of our recommendations. They chucked them out the window.
Can't do it.
And now their company they're still around, but they're a shell of themselves.
Really?
They had a moment there where they could have made that turn, and they didn't. And I wonder, like, to me, Dana White is actually, I'm telling you, as media, it used to be if you even suggested that managers get, arm twisted. I mean, not literally, figuratively.
Yeah.
There would be, you would have a call. And now they don't give a fuck at all. They don't care at all. Like I haven't since the new ownership. Not new ownership, but like I'd say in the last 4 years, I haven't had one call,
zero,
not one email, and I've said plenty of negative things.
Yeah, they might just be over it. With the new management, they're just like, what do you want to say?
Except for the people who are still blackballed.
Correct. Which is weird,
isn't it? What do you think these guys are going to do? And again, Gross wrote a book. He writes for The Guardian. Jonathan Snowden writes for Bleacher Report. He's covered some of the biggest boxing.
Brilliant.
They're doing just fine. You didn't stop them. You just kind of turned them in a different direction, I guess.
But it also kind of hurts your brand.
It can.
Those guys can actually help.
But see, since I grew up in the age when like UFC was, boy, let me say something. I'm not going to say their names, but the people who used to work PR for UFC back in the day, I would love to say terrible things about them. Like, it's one thing if Dana White wants to be, full of piss and vinegar, right? I get it. You're an executive.
He drives the ship,
right. But to adopt that posture,
can't do that.
And you make $60K a year in Las Vegas as a PR person.
No.
I have horrible things to say about them.
Yeah.
I don't know, I forgot where I was going, Storm, because I hate those motherfuckers so much. Like every day, and it's amazing. Like since then, I've had a couple emails from them. You're like, hey, we should connect.
Yeah.
No, we are not connecting ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you humiliated me time after time.
Yeah, no.
When you berated me on phone calls, and I asked you to help out with something that was a benefit to you, and you wouldn't even fucking have the courtesy to answer my emails. Fuck you.
The new regime isn't like that. Like
no, dude, they're completely the opposite.
Yeah, like the PR guy came up to me who does all the bookings. He's like, bro, I know with this, and this, we'd love to get our fighters on your shows and stuff. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'd because most of my guests are just my personal connections, and I just bring these guys on. He's like, man, we're bringing fighters to LA. We'd love to put on your show. I'm like,
dude,
wow,
it's great. Yeah.
I'm like, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
I'm down.
No, they're much better about it. Look, let me just say this, because there's Showtime people working PR here today, and there's UFC people working PR here today. Dude, the UFC PR people, anybody we asked to bring on Radio Row, not a hesitation.
Yeah, they're in.
Not one. They're awesome now. Yeah. It's a completely different ball game now,
which I think is going to help them.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And
I was talking to the new social media guy, and it used to be Shonda, who I love, and she's brilliant.
Shonda's awesome. I feel so bad they let her go,
Yeah, they let her go, but then Lorenzo, offered her a job, and she turned it down.
Really?
To work in the
his boutique
hotel stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, she turned it down to do her own thing. Shout out to Shonda.
She'll be successful.
Yeah, she's fine. But the new guy, I'm like, oh, where you got? He was at the dinner I was at with Showtime, this steakhouse. I'm like, oh, where'd you come from? He's like, NBA, man. Been here for 3 months. I was like, oh, were you a UFC fan? He's like, getting into it. I was like, oh, man, he has some shit to learn, my man.
That's
he'll get it, but that, they're getting those kind of new big league guys over to it.
Yeah. Dave Lockett, I'll just say his name.
Yeah.
He came from NFL.
Yeah, and I think it's good and bad. I think you also need someone from that grassroots to talk to the fans. And
but then you got Dave Schaller, who went to the NBA.
Correct.
Bit of a cross.
Correct.
This is the thing, like when you first got in, MMA was a sport, but a sport apart. I think one of the big successes I've seen as somebody in media has been the acceptance from the larger sporting world that maybe we don't watch MMA, but we absolutely consider
Respect
MMA.
it.
It's part of the ecosystem.
It's a major sport.
If there's MMA news, we have to cover it now.
Correct.
Right?
It's on ESPN.
It's on the crawl at a
breaking
bare
news.
fucking minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was not the case before, and now it has become part of the larger firmament of sports.
Dan Hardy and I had a conversation through Twitter because, again, I made the mistake. People are like, oh, Dan's hating on you on your Showtime stuff. All Dan said, because he's doing the stuff for Sky Sports, Dan was like, I love Brent. I think he's been doing a brilliant job. I wish they would let him do more actual analyst work as far as breaking, technique down, stuff like that. And he's hyping the fight, but I wish he would do more technique work. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Of course, I don't look into it. Fans are like, oh, Hardy clowning you, man. This is ridiculous. He's making fun of you for not critiquing the fight. So I just, I think on my show, I was like, I love Hardy. I said, but you got to understand, I'm there to hype the fight and hype Conor. And you have 10 minutes. I don't have time to break down southpaw and, and techniques and the Philly shell and stuff like that of Floyd Mayweather. I just don't have time. That's Dan's thing. If he needs help selling, getting ratings, let me know. Just like making a joke.
Yeah.
And so Dan, someone sent that to Dan. He responded on Twitter. So I told him DM. I'm like, yo, I don't know, because he was probably hurt by it. He saw it.
Also, Twitter is a terrible.
Terrible. That's my mistake. It's so fucking JV. I was embarrassed. I even responded to it. So I DM was like, yo, I don't know where the hatings come from, man. I apologize. I didn't even read the article. That's my bad. I'm trying the best I can. You got to realize it's also a PR tour. It's a press tour. So I'm literally trying to hype this thing to get, people to buy this thing. And I'm working for Showtime, stuff like that. And his response was, he was like, man, I know, I just get it. We have such and this is what makes him so special. He was like, we have such a big opportunity here. We have all these new eyeballs and people consider MMA like we're meatheads and we're in the Stone Age, stuff like that. I don't know how it is in England, but not really. Not really. Like out here, it's not that case. Like the fighters here, the media here doesn't view MMA as these brutes. It's really not like that. At least I don't know. You're more in the media, but from where Fox and ESPN, I've worked for both, and Showtime. No, they don't really view us as these these cavemen. Like I was like, God, maybe in England, I was over there. You have Bisping, you haven't had a lot of success, but. As far as in masses, you've had Bisping and Hardy had a good
I know what you
too.
mean. Like the scene has not quite.
So maybe over there, but I'm like, here, bro, it's not like that.
No, I know. I guess he's like, and he's paranoid too. I remember when I did like local television gigs. I would be like very. I would never go on local television in DC without wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time someone goes, they didn't do. I'd never forget this. I got an email one time. They're like, hey, can you show up call times at blah 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 blah. I'm not suggesting anything, but please don't wear any affliction shirts.
Oh my God!
I was like, I would never dream of doing that. And
affliction.
And I think they thought they were having, fucking crazy Steve.
Bam, bam.
When I'm not watching MMA, I'm setting up bail bonds.
Crazy Steve.
And my cousin
owns a scuffle.
Here's my pawn shop. Bring your guitar. We'll watch MMA.
I get that, but
it's not that was 10 years ago. That was literally 10 years ago.
But to Dan's point, when I do stand up, I hide my tattoos and I'm very self-conscious for my ears because it's a bit of a distraction. I look like the guy, I wasn't, that bullied you in high school. Like, that's not funny.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I get up there and like,
because you're large.
I'm large. My ears are all fucked up. I have full sleeve tattoo. It's very rare. If I'm at the Comedy Store, it's not my crowd. Those people are there just to see
Is that why Rogan wears long sleeves too?
It's a distraction.
Interesting. No, not always. I've seen him wear short sleeves on occasion.
Very rarely.
Yeah, maybe if it's a club he's comfortable with or something
very
like that.
rarely. Yeah, if it's my crowd, like in Dublin, I did some short sleeves. If it's the Brendan Schaub live and I know it's my crowd, everyone knows I have tattoos. I'll wear them. If I'm part of a comedy festival, no way. I'm in a
That's
long
super
sleeve.
interesting.
Yeah, because it's that and so it drives me nuts. You guys might recognize him from punching people in the face in the cage. It's UFC fight. I'm like, oh my God, bro, I haven't fought since. What are you doing, man?
We're guessing he likes Kid Rock. Maybe he's a juggalo.
Yeah. I can hit the hate breed. Here he comes. Like, it's like, fuck, man.
You know what, dude?
I'm like, you're killing me.
The dude from Hatebreed is actually a huge MMA fan. No, he's a great guy. He gave me tickets to his show. He is the nicest dude.
Is he really?
And a major MMA fan.
Is he
like
really?
a major guy. But here's to your point. I'm not a fighter, and I'm not trying to present myself like a tough guy, but I'm a larger person.
You're a big dude.
And I remember a guy out of the Marine Corps. I just kept a shaved head because I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
I hadn't had hair for 6 years. You know, what am I going to do? And so I finally grew it out. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna grow it out. And, you know,
nice hair, too.
Yeah, I'm graying like this shit is a contest.
Chicks dig that, though.
Oh, no, they don't. But okay, so the best part is, I remember finally I started wearing collared shirts because I got a little bit more money. You know, I like Thomas Pink. That is what I like. It's a little conventional, but I like Thomas Pink. It. And I'll never forget this. This is gonna sound stupid to you, but this is true. Somebody came up on the streets of DC, as a woman actually, and asked me the time. A person hadn't asked me the time on the street since I was 18 years old.
Too scary. You're an intimidated guy.
I hadn't even made the connection about your tattoos and shit.
That's also why I grew my hair out when I retired.
Is that right?
Yeah. Same thing. You can't.
Wow.
Of course you have a shaved head. Of course you have cauliflowers. Yeah. Of course you have tattoos.
You don't think anything about it when you're in the world, and then you get out and you're like...
Because I don't care. And I'm like, oh, shit, I look like I just got off the yard in prison.
Hey, Tank Abbott, you lost a little weight.
Damn, Tank. Leaned up, bro. You look like fucking 8 Mile on steroids. You know, it's just like, awesome. Those things entertainment, man.
Yeah.
Any audition I go on, any meeting I have, I'm in a sports coat. I'd overdress all the time.
You have to. I'll never forget, first episode ever for MMA Uncensored Live. I've done local TV. I've done a fair amount of local TV. I'd never done any national TV. You know, it was a big fucking deal. And I go on the set. And I remember that set was, I don't know if you remember this, the set was the old TRL set in Times Square. So I was like, holy shit, fuck, you know?
Yeah, big deal.
And I did prep like Brian Stan level prep, you know? I put it through the work. And I made sure that anytime I had a chance to speak, I was like, I'm going to fucking kill it. And I thought I did okay. And then I remember, the show's over and I'm like, okay, let me get to Twitter and see what the reaction was. And everyone's like, you got a big dumb beard. Comb your fucking hair.
Yeah.
Your shoes are less brown than your belt.
TV is mean.
It's like,
man.
dude, they nitpick your fucking appearance. They don't give a shit what you're saying.
Nothing.
What do you look like?
They expect you to be the analyst on there, the expert. No,
what do you look like?
Oh, I get murdered for
Do you? It's inevitable.
On style.
You're going to have a bad day.
A bad day, but even if no matter what, man, even if you have a great day, they're gonna find something.
I know you go to a stylist. I actually had this one. Stylist will, dress you. You're like, okay, I got a fucking stylist.
You're still getting clowned.
Yo, your shirt's a little too pink, pussy.
Always.
Why don't you drop your pants and pull your thong up a little tighter, asswipe?
Like, people are just haters,
you
man.
just can't win, dude. You can't win.
Dude, before we get you out of here, are you excited to this fight to be over?
Yeah, I'm excited to go home, man. I'm 38 and.
Do you have kids?
No.
You and your wife don't want kids?
Trying.
I know you always have that dog that's always causing fucking issues on your show.
Fucking greatest dog in the world.
Yeah, he's great. It sounds like you hate him though. You're like, God damn it! What's his name?
Barbas.
Barbas. What's Barbas doing?
Barbas is the shit, dude.
Yeah,
I miss
you
that
guys
dog.
trying to get? How old's your wife?
She'll be 39 on Monday.
It's time to get going. Yeah.
We'll be trying. So we'll see. Fingers crossed,
I hope it happens, man.
I think we're just gonna have one.
Yeah,
just
you'd
the
be
one.
a great dad.
I'm trying, man. That's what I'm like. When you're 25, I don't know how you were. How old are you now?
33.
33. When I was 25, the notion of fatherhood was absolutely terrifying. In part because you're not financially ready, and I was transitioning careers. I was trying to get into MMA full time, and it was really, really hard.
Some scary stuff.
And now I've got a little bit of money in my back. I mean, I'm not rich, but I've made smart choices, and my wife does really well, and my biology just changed somewhere. I don't know what happened.
Your wife's Latin, yeah?
Yeah, fully thick accent.
I'm sure she wants kids.
Bro. We got married 5 years ago next month. And at the wedding, ay, Luquito.
Do you speak Spanish?
I'm working on it. But they're like, where are the niños?
Yeah.
You're too old. You're viejito.
Yeah.
We need, and it's just like, and she's Catholic too.
Dude, same. My girl from Guadalajara, man. And
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man. They must. You did the job. You have fulfilled your purpose.
We need more now.
Oh, is that right?
They want more. They want a little girl. They want a little princess.
Does your wife speak Spanish?
Oh, I'm like a refugee in my house.
Bro.
What?
The struggle is super real.
And I speak zero. And I don't get it. I think it's the brain trauma, but I've watched every morning since he was born. He's 18 months now. 18 months, I watch a Spanish cartoon every morning.
That's good, dude. That's
I
a
don't
smart thing.
understand shit.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
See, here's how it works for me. I sit down with Rosetta Stone like a fucking gorilla trying to finger paint.
In anything?
Yeah. El niño corre. El niña bebe.
Yeah.
Right? Just simple
Anything.
shit. And so what happens is my wife, like, if she's not talking to me or working, she does not speak English. Right? Like all her friends, Latins.
Exact same.
Okay. And the TV, when I get up in the morning, we actually buy the shit from Colombia so she can watch news about Bogota in the morning.
Oh, she's Colombian.
Yeah, she's Colombian.
Yeah.
So we watch the news from Colombia in the morning. We get home, watch the Colombia. Like, I don't know what's going on in D.C., but I can tell you all about what's going on in Bogota, Colombia.
Yeah, you need to have some
And so
kids,
what
man.
happens is she'll start like, well, I'll try to learn song lyrics, and she sort of works it out with me. I'm not confident enough to really try beyond my family because,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna
embarrassing.
Here's the thing: people like if you speak a language fucked up, people will judge your intelligence, but it's really just your command of the language.
It's a beast to learn. Again,
Yeah.
I'm balls deep in Mexican culture.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's my thing. And
Here's the key question for you: where is the mother-in-law?
the mother, she's an hour from me, and she's
So that's the relevant
best
consideration.
grandma
Yeah.
in the world. Like she's like my girl's here because she's working for Fox Deportes covering the fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So we're like a super low budget Beyonce, Jay-Z
Jay-Z.
of
Yeah.
fight world.
Yeah,
like super low, like we're the
a
C
90
class.
watt power company.
Yeah. Super low level. But
awesome.
yeah, so she's here covering it, and the kid, my son goes with the grandma. And, I mean, she's
That's
a
key, man.
beast.
That's going to set them up for life.
For life.
We've already said, like, whenever we have a kid, summers, just going to punt that little one to
100%.
Bogota, and you do not speak English when
Yep.
you're there, period.
And our nannies, all she does speak Spanish. Again, I'm the only white boy around.
You know how many parties I have been to? How many fucking tables I have sat at?
You're a better man than me. I don't do it.
And I just sit there and I am just trying to absorb. And I get excited because I'll get like 7 words in a row. I know.
Think
Like,
they know what they're talking about?
I think they're talking about cupcakes.
Yeah, no,
yes.
I got nothing.
And there no one is saying, I mean, they're not mean, but I'm the handicapped kid,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
I hear you.
So, but it's honestly, and I'll say this last thing because I know you got to go, but, and I'm not doing the sappy shit. I love my wife because that's fucking lame. But I will say this.
I saw a guy crying Good Morning America talking about his wife today.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love and miss my wife, but I'm not.
He was like, I wake up every morning. I thank the heavens she's next to me. And he was like bawling. He was there to pitch a TV
Did she
show.
pull you out of the jaws of an alligator?
They were
motherfucker?
literally like, the hosts were like, Jesus Christ, I
Yeah.
wish I loved anything that
hell of a
much.
blowjob
It was kind
you're
of
still
sweet.
getting.
It was kind of sweet, but
No, I will
it's
say-
like you're fucking it up, man.
I don't know how you feel. You grew up where?
Denver, on the
Latino
streets of
there's
Denver.
a Latino population there.
Yeah.
I grew up in a world where I knew nothing about Latinos. I knew nothing about Latin America or any kind of Latin life. Nothing, dude, nothing. And in high school, what did you study? European history, maybe a moderate amount of Latin culture, but very
You can't
virtually.
just skip over that.
Dude, we obviously have a shared history with Europe, so that makes sense to an extent. But I grew up, I did academically. I was at the high level my whole time. I never studied anything Latin. And in fact,
Aztecs? A little bit, right? Mayans, Aztecs?
yeah, but this is incredibly basic shit, dude.
Super basic.
You know enough, dude. You go to Latin America. The Latinos are nothing like what you think they are, and they're completely different from each other.
Yeah,
And the
my God.
language is different, and the food is different. Everything
like
is
Colombians compared to migrant Mexicans. it's-
different. Totally different people, dude. They just
Yeah.
speak the same language.
Oh, it's completely
And even the language is fucked. But here's
Even
what I
the
mean.
language, their accents are different.
Completely
the language
different.
It's different.
So
Everything's
my
different.
whole point is like it was I'm glad I met her because I met her at 30, and it was like a new world I got introduced to, and I feel like that's really enriched my life a little bit.
That's cool, man.
So I'm pretty glad about that.
Yeah. So, but before you added how do you picture going down tomorrow? Mayweather, Conor.
Well, like anybody else, I am not Miss Cleo. I do not know what to expect in terms of any kind of certainty. My hunch, after talking to everyone I've talked to, after reading everything I've read and everything, my hunch is Mayweather by decision. Conor is out here telling you he thinks he's going to do his best work in 2, potentially 4 rounds, and I think those first 2 to 4 rounds are going to be electric. To be honest, I think they're going to be unusual and different, and there'll be something to it. It's just all Mayweather has to do is win 7 rounds. It's hard for me to believe he can't do that.
It's super. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? I think that's a fair argument to make. You know,
But I think Conor's going to have his moments, and I think if he can capitalize on those moments, we got something there. And I'm riding and dying on that when I say Conor has a chance to finish this thing. And the thing that kind of, not because I'd say I was 60-40 Conor McGregor to Floyd. I was that positive.
Wow.
I know.
Holy shit.
And I know. And I would say I'm more 50-50, maybe 45-55 now. But I think talking to this guy from Fight Hype, or I think it's Boxing Hype, he's Floyd's guy. He's been in all of Floyd's camps. He covers all Floyd. He's Floyd's media guy. Speaking to him, he goes, "Shop, let me tell you something before you look like a dumbass. I like you, man. You're the one MMA guy I like."
So patronizing.
Yeah, I was like, thank you, my man. Thank you. I even called him my boy, which you're not supposed to call black guys. It went off on the wrong foot.
Turns out they don't like that.
I was like, thanks, homeboy. God damn it. Anyways, he was like, "Bro, I've been part of all of his camps. I'm telling you, I ain't never seen him like this. Knocking dudes out in training camp, one after the other."
What?
And he goes, "You keep saying that Conor's doing well in these first rounds. Floyd's going straight at him to prove a point."
No.
And I will take. And I stopped him on it. If your boy Floyd, I keep calling these black guys boys, it's not good, but I can't beat this guy up. I said, if your boy Floyd comes forward early on, he's gonna be in some trouble, man. I will promise you that. And I said, and what makes your guy so special, Floyd doesn't take risks. That would be the biggest risk in the world to do that in the first 4 rounds. And he goes, I'm telling you, it's not that he's going to be marched forward. He's going to plant his feet and encourage Conor to box with him.
I don't believe that at all. I had Canelo on my show, and I asked him, I was like, what is the worst part about fighting Floyd? Right? What's the worst part? And he goes, I never fought anybody who is perfectly content to win a round by 3 punches. They don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Round over, do it again.
There's no risk for it. Like it's risk reward.
Imagine
he
that.
will boom.
He will
boom,
only
boom.
engage
Does
just enough to
not
get
care.
just a notch ahead and no more.
And
That
I
must
think
be
with Conor,
fucking frustrating.
and I think with Conor, there's such this mystery about him. You're crazy if you think Floyd's going to go forward. If he does, we go in Sizzler.
Yeah.
For reals.
with Roy Nelson.
With Roy Nelson now, which I might have to. Roy's going to sue me if I keep saying that. That's my word.
I
But
think that's right. I think if he comes forward, it's going to be curtains.
I just think it's going to be a better fight than people think. And you said you have to write an article tonight. That's why I don't want to keep you here too long. Yeah. Your article is going to be what's next for Conor.
Right. So the basic premise is whatever you think about whether he'll win or whether he doesn't win. I don't know. Let's just assume.
Let's say he doesn't.
Let's say he does.
Let's go with that first.
Let's say he wins. What happens next? And
there's a few variables there, though.
Yeah.
With your article,
right. So
I don't know if this helps you with your article or not.
No,
but I'll
this
say
would.
what I think.
Sure. Go ahead. What would you say would be the biggest takeaway if McGregor wins? And let's say it's by something relatively dominant. Not a crazy knockout or something, but hey, this fucking guy beat him.
If McGregor wins like 8 out of 12,
something like that,
and drops him and then
drops him 1 or 2 times,
him,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then next for him would be Paulie Malignaggi, where he makes the most money and it's the easiest fight.
So my biggest takeaway is I don't know that it would last once other seasons get started, but if he does that on August 27th, he's the biggest maybe star, period, not sports star in the world. I really think that. This is a global event.
You're 100% right.
I think Conor McGregor is the guy the next day in the world.
Tell me if I'm being dramatic. And I did this piece for Showtime. They're like, we just want you to go about the recap this event, stuff like that. Yeah. Can I talk about the magnitude of this event? They went, sure. And I went, let me just go and you guys can edit and it's going to come out. It might come out now. We're doing this. This is my thing. I said this earlier in the podcast. You have a guy who 5 years ago was cashing welfare checks. He has the opportunity tomorrow night to use his fist to become the biggest athlete of all time. He has the opportunity to beat up another man. Take out whatever you want out. Take 0-0, 49-0. You hate Mayweather. Conor's, whatever, this Irish dick rider, Mystic Mac. Take all those biased opinions out. Just take him as a human being who has an opportunity to become the biggest athlete of all time. I think if he were to pull this...
Still wouldn't put him quite Muhammad Ali level.
See, I think he beats him.
Really?
I think he beats
Muhammad
him.
Ali was part of the culture wars and shit, man.
Well, with the race stuff, it's a little different. However...
The dodging the draft shit, that was big, dude.
That was big. And, he lost a lot of his prime in that. That was big. And I get that aspect of it, but hear me out. He's 0-0 against...
It's so big.
49-0, the greatest boxer of all time. He's 0-0.
Dude, it's so big. It's so big.
And I get chills when I talk about it. You're talking about a guy who 5 years ago was on welfare.
Right.
And now with his bare hands, he has the opportunity to beat this other guy up to become at least the biggest athlete of our generation.
And to do so with a path that he
Created.
not just merely created. I'm going to define the terms of these explicitly on my own choosing. I'm not following the path. I'm going to make the path.
That's why I don't understand. And that was my whole message on the Showtime thing. You cannot hate this fight if you view it that way. If you go, that's some inspiring shit, win or lose.
Yeah.
I would tune in to watch to see, man, this guy has a dream that's unheard of. You're telling me he has 12 rounds to become the most famous person on earth?
36 minutes.
36 minutes to literally become the most famous person on earth. He can fight to become the most famous person on earth.
Dude,
and you're not going to tune into that?
Bullshit.
Fuck
Bullshit.
you.
Yeah, you have to
I
watch.
call bullshit.
Yeah, you have to watch.
You're going to be around your friend's fucking TV watching it.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of numbers it's going to do. Obviously, it's going to be absolutely tremendous. But like,
You think it breaks pay-per-view?
it's
And I've been I've been that poster boy going, I guarantee it. I guarantee it does. When I see that Mr.
Espinosa.
around
You see,
here,
Espinosa was hesitant about that.
was he?
To Ariel, he was like, I don't know.
I think he has to be that way. He can't make guarantees.
Yeah.
I'm a little different, obviously.
I'll say this.
This is my only caveat with that, and
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like, oh, you could be wrong, B, because I don't feel it here.
Correct.
I don't feel it here. I look around the hotel; it's not that packed.
Nope.
They get your boy
You
in
can
the
get a room- you can
penthouse.
get a room
How the
tonight.
fuck did I get a
You
penthouse?
can get a room for $122 tonight. I went.
7,000 tickets or 4,000 tickets left.
Yeah, so I went back and actually looked at my hotel bill for Mayweather-Pacquiao. That Friday night I was there, I stayed at the Mandalay Bay, which is still MGM property, so relatively commensurate prices for MGM, which the fight was, of course, at MGM at the time. My bill that night was $930
For the night.
for the night, and the next night was $1,200. And you can get a room tonight for $122. But here's the difference, and this is why it's interesting. They priced out the Irish, which of course is Conor's fan base.
They fucked up.
But there's going to be some Irish there, but not like it was for 205 or something.
They messed up doing
But
it.
here's the key, and I think Dana's been harping on this, and I think it's real. Dude, you can buy this shit digitally in a way you never could before.
You know, it's available on more networks, on more avenues than any other fight in history.
So to me, that's
There's something to that.
I agree. And even if you don't want to fly to Vegas to see it, and even if you don't want to pay for tickets, do you really want to not watch it? You know what I mean?
So that's why I think he breaks pay-per-view numbers. But at the gate, they're going to do well, but they're not doing like crazy numbers, blockbuster numbers, because they fucked up. Because remember when it came out, they went minimum ticket 10 G's, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck that,
off,
I'm
yeah.
not doing that." Oh, LeBron James there. We don't know if we're going to give tickets to Drake. So everyone they kind of, and then for the first time they didn't use a StubHub or anything like that. You could only directly buy them. Do you know that? So they set the price, and for the first time, there's no third party. They didn't allow third parties to sell.
That's crazy.
So it hurt the ticket sales.
Interesting.
So I don't get the atmosphere around here. I'm not feeling that big fight vibe. In the
Well, no, it's a
weigh-ins, I
big
felt
fight
that.
vibe.
Don't get me wrong, but not like packed. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not craziness right now. Maybe tomorrow it will be, but usually the night before.
Yeah, you can feel it.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no,
I think it breaks those pay-per-view numbers.
I think for sure, here's what I can say. I think minimally it beats $3 million. And understand,
agree.
only one fight has ever beaten $3 million.
Yeah.
Mayweather-Pacquiao.
Yep.
So for sure, it's going to be an absolutely rarefied
But
territory.
back to your options for Conor. What were the other ones?
Be
So
the
let's
biggest
say he
celebrity.
wins.
The other one is to what extent this affects merchandising. Merchandising, but also sponsorship. So I went back and I looked. The year after Buster Douglas beat Tyson, Tyson was the richest athlete in the world. Buster Douglas was number 2. And part of that was a major deal with Everlast.
Endorsements.
Major endorsements. Now, he would have the choice, like Conor or Floyd, to not take many endorsements, or he could have the choice to fucking get the cream of the crop.
He's going to take cream of the crop.
So that's what I would.
Connor's
I
no
mean,
cream of the crop.
can you imagine?
He
who's gonna
gets them
come
no matter
calling?
what happens.
Right, and you would have endorsements specific to Ireland. You would have endorsements specific to Europe. You would have endorsements that are global. I mean, we have tiers of sponsorships.
I think you're going to see like a Gucci,
and
some of the big
Ronaldo
stuff.
makes how much a year annually on sponsors?
Stupid
20 mil, something like that. He would be far in excess of that.
And this is my point where, he's the only cash cow in town now with the UFC. So the UFC is going to go, is there any way you can fight Khabib in Russia for 15 mil? He's
Yeah.
going to go,
Suck a
I just
dick
made
up to your
15
hiccup.
mil off Crest, silly bitch. What do you want me to fight this crazy
Yeah, I
Russian
know,
out there?
I
Get
know,
the fuck
I
out
know,
of here.
but please, this
I need
is-
this money.
Yeah, and I think one of the other
Oh, and
considerations.
Reebok?
Yeah.
Fuck yourself.
One of the other considerations about like what happens next, I am almost guaranteeing you. I think that if Conor goes out there and just straight up, legitimately beats
Mercs him.
Triple G Canelo call him out. The winner calls him out.
How insane is that?
That's the most fucking batshit thing to think about, and it is, in the words of Agent Smith, inevitability.
Yeah, it's actually an option. I can't believe we're even considering it. That's actually an option.
But this is my point. Like, you just dismiss it. You never think about it. But when you take a step back and say, okay, let's say he wins. What the fuck is going to happen?
The winner, Canelo Triple G.
The winner of Canelo Triple G would 1,000% call him out, and they can make the weight to 154.
And again, it's another
dude,
even bigger than
it
this.
is bat shittery. This is
Who doesn't want that to happen?
I know. But there's a
Why
part
do
of
you
me,
hate on my parade?
there's a part of me
world?
that wants normalcy just because I'm a fucking old loser.
I hear you.
But by the way, I know we got to go. I want to tell you something.
No, keep going, brother.
This is amazing. So we know you were on my show. We were talking about how fucking lame my DMs are.
Yeah.
You'll love this shit. So the next day I had like 4 DMs. I was like, oh fucking shit. Okay, it's the best one. Ready? 3 were dudes. Okay. They're like, sorry about your DMs, LOL. You know, block. And then the 4th one goes, hey Luke, I heard Brendan on your show, and I just want to say it's not true. Ready for this? You don't have any female listeners. I'm one. I mean, sure, I'm a lesbian, but I just wanted to say hey. I was like, yep.
Thanks, girl.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thank you.
girl.
Very sweet of you. Very
Thanks,
sweet of you.
Going back to Conor's options, what happens if he goes out, loses by decision?
That one I'm not thinking about.
You're not thinking about it. You're only thinking if he wins.
Not for my article in any way. But you mean to ask me just generally?
Yeah.
I think if he loses in a way that there's some dignity with it, then he probably does go back to the UFC in December.
You think? I think Paulie. I think you have to capitalize on that, and it's still the easiest and biggest payday.
Who the fuck wants to see that fight? Honestly, dude. Okay,
In the MMA world, we don't. In boxing, they do.
Here's my thing, man. If you're me, and you're not, but I'm just saying, if you're a fan, you got to pay Conor no matter what. Like, you want to watch Conor fight, you got to pay, right?
Correct. There's no more freebies.
There's no. So why would I want to give Conor money to go fight Malignaggi when I would much rather see him fight a Habib or a Tony or whoever?
You just want to see him dominate.
Right. So you're asking me, like, do I understand Conor's reasons for wanting to fight Malignaggi? Yeah, of course, I get it. But I'm just saying, just fans, ask yourselves, what do you really want to see?
Oh, you want to see him fight Khabib. You want to see him fight Tony. You want to see him.
Don't you want to see these things play out?
That's not the way it works. You know this, Luke. You know better than this.
I'm voicing my preferences.
It's the exact same reason why I took heat on when I went on Jay and Dan on Fox Sports after UFC 205. They went, "What's next for Conor?" I went, "Floyd Mayweather."
Did you really?
Yeah.
And they laughed at you?
Everyone laughed at me, including Brian Callen. Everyone's like, "You're silly. That's never going to happen."
Wow.
I go,
Look at you.
It is going to happen. I guarantee you. That's it. Those are the moves, man.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the UFC, the problem with him fighting in December is he's going to have so much control no matter what happens in the fight. They need to come to terms with that first, so I don't see it happening in December. Unless Dana's like, you know what, you're right. I don't give a fuck. Here you go.
Yeah. Unless Dana matches, basically, right?
And they're financially a little bit of a...
And here's the best part. They keep giving him the keys to the car. You know, the teenager in the summer, here's the keys to the Rolls.
He's going to crash that car.
Well.
Meaning, when I say crash that car, the UFC car.
Yeah.
He's going to be finding his own car.
Correct. And here's what I think. We really don't want Conor to fight Paulie. He might win, of course. I mean... I would probably favor him to beat Paulie at this point, but let's give him an ownership stake. That way we can say, look, if we give him an ownership stake, no more boxing.
You would never hear that. I think that's
You don't think they would do it? I think they might do it.
No. Hear me out here.
Yeah.
I think they're going to end up giving him ownership. We won't hear about it till after Conor retires.
Wow. That's interesting.
How else are they going to pay him?
Yeah.
He's going to demand around 25, 30, 40 million at this point.
Yeah, you have to
How are you
get
going to pay him?
dividends,
They have this huge nut. And they're already, they already have their financial issues. You're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
And I bet Conor accepts it. They say, yeah, we're only paying $3 million, but he probably has ownership.
His timing's incredible, is it not? Like, as a business person?
Could not get any better.
Man, he has just such a sense about when to go, when to break, which direction to turn, how to finesse it. He's a pretty incredible guy.
In your article, and we'll get you out here on this, are you going to write about what happens if Conor goes in and gets murked?
No.
First, second round gets dismantled.
The major premise is, let's say he wins, and in a way that everyone is convinced.
Ooh, I love that.
Now
article.
what happens?
But for our sakes, what happens if he goes in and gets murked? Just goes back to
MMA,
fighting Nate Diaz in the trilogy.
It would. Yeah, I'm told that's what they want to do. I've heard that's what they want to do for.
That's the
December.
only choice.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. I mean,
what else are you gonna do?
I mean, and plus,
I'm in the entertainment world. I'll tell you right now. I love Tony Ferguson. That ain't happening. He's not a big enough name.
Yeah.
Khabib's,
or Kevin Lee, especially if it's
Khabib's great. Not a big enough name.
Yeah.
Kevin Lee, he's on his way. Ain't happening.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he would fight Diaz.
Nate
as well.
Diaz, December trilogy. for the true champion. They both split it one ways. 155 is where they're both at their best. There's so much at stake. That breaks all-time UFC pay-per-view numbers for sure.
Yeah. No, it would be a fucking absolute killer. And I'd be like, all right, didn't go so well for you for Floyd, but
here's this.
We've already seen you beat this guy.
Yeah. So that I 100%, even if he gets murked, he is that to fall back on.
Yeah, for sure. And that would be obviously, I talked to, well, yes, I am pretty sure that's the direction they want to go.
Oh, I'm not. You don't have to be Nostradamus to predict that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I figure, you know.
Yeah. No, fair enough on that. It's tomorrow's so uncertain. You know, there's so many directions that this could go. The only thing I don't want to happen is to get like a CM Punk situation where, you know, anybody who's ever.
That's embarrassing.
Anyone who's ever trained has been like, dude, I don't know much about Mickey Gall, but I don't think this is going to go too well. And then I did my Monday morning analyst on that, dude. Dude, that was big bank take little bank. Oh my God, that was terrible.
That was the worst case scenario. Like, what's the worst going to happen?
Yeah,
literally
dude,
that.
I mean, because the thing was, if he got viciously KO'd in 30 seconds, I mean, Aldo got KO'd in 13.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. People are like, he just got caught.
The problem was he got audited. And then when he got audited, everyone was like, your finances are fucked. I mean, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He audited him.
Yeah.
He showed at every level, you don't know how to bridge. You don't know how to keep your elbows by your ribs. You don't
It
know
was
how to.
super amateur. Like, there was guys in the crowd that could have put up a better fight.
You don't know anything. You know?
That set our sport back about 2 years.
And here's the problem. Now they don't know what to fucking do with the guy, you know? Because
he still wants to fight.
You know what? I don't know. I actually kind of commend him for that. I was super against signing him. I thought it was a very bad idea.
I still think it's a bad idea.
I completely stand by that. But you put the guy on contract, and here's my attitude. If you're going to keep him on contract, then you can give him a fight. Sorry, give him a fight.
Why not let him fight in the Contender Series on
yes,
Fight Pass?
exactly. What the fuck is you doing? You got guys out there who you 2-0 coming off the fight.
Let him fight on there. And even if he loses, keep having him on every show. You're going to have crazy ratings.
Just guys beating him like a piñata or something.
It's like bully beatdown.
Every time he gets KO'd, they just throw candy at the audience and shit, you know? No, but I'm saying, like, here's my attitude is like, dude, if you're going to keep him around, give him a fight, or just let him go. Let him go.
Dude,
that's the ethical thing. Fuck what business does. That's the ethical thing, dude. The ethical thing is either let him fight or let him go.
Or, when you let him fight, put him on that Madison Square Garden card against another killer and let's see him get murked, and you're going to get your $2 million.
Here we go. We're going to do Demi and Maya versus CM Punk. You'd be like, oh.
Enjoy, my man.
Shit.
Enjoy.
I didn't know Demi and Maya had savage ground and pound. Holy fuck.
Who's Maya versus CM Punk?
Oh, poor bastard, man. what are you going to do? Fuck.
I know. I'd like to see him on like Contender Series, though.
I think that's the way to go, dude. I love that show, and I think I just don't. I think it's they never should have. They caught the tiger by the tail, and now they don't know what to do with it. Fucking give him a fight. You can't just bench a guy because you don't. What are you gonna? He can't fight anybody. You fucking signed him. You knew when you signed him you couldn't do that.
I think they're giving him more time to train. This is a hilarious conversation.
Yeah, they can ring it in on his 40th birthday.
Yeah, he's not 38.
Young. I'm not an athlete.
Young. How old is he?
Yeah, no, he's fucking he's older than me. I get out of the day and I'm like, wow, I had a piss that didn't sting. What a great morning.
That motherfucker,
you know what I mean?
He signed up and he is in some trouble.
They're going
to be like, bro, are you ready to fight him? Like, I sure am.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
All right, man, here's fucking some killer. Like, there's no freebies in the UFC.
Who's going to be 2-0 in the regional scene? A 24-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Killer.
That's who's going to be 2-0.
Grew up wanting to fight in the UFC.
Yeah, and he might be green, but he's going to be athletic as fuck, right?
Yeah, he's going to knee in the goddamn face.
Versus fucking, I don't
like anyone's demise, but it's hilarious to me. What the fuck were you thinking?
You are evil. This guy cheers.
Because I laugh because it's like
here comes that hurricane to Texas. LOL.
No, in the Water Boy when they start putting in the actual Water Boys.
Yeah.
That's what we're witnessing when CM Punk goes in there.
Oh, fuck,
it's like they put in that Water Boy to run that fucking slant right into the linebacker, and that's what you're getting.
And I admire his guts, but I was like, dude, I still train when I can, and I have teammates who fight all the time, and I know what regional MMA looks like when someone's 0-1 or 1-1 or 2-0.
Me too. I've been there. I've seen that, and he's not on that level,
dude.
He's
not even close.
No, he's that's
not even close.
I rolled with him.
Did you really?
Yeah, I rolled with him at the Gracie Academy. We trained together for a day, and I thought I just thought he was this WWE guy who you just put on gi and see what it was all about. And
Did you roll in the gi or?
Yeah, and then 6 months later, he's taking a UFC fight, and his strength is jiu-jitsu. I went, well, no. If that's his strength, what the fuck's his striking look like?
And then, dude, Mickey Gall, man. I was trying to explain to people, there was a There's a moment in that fight where Gall was in side control, and he was a high side control. So his elbows are completely separated from his ribs.
Yeah.
To the point where he's almost doing the dab.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Gall has separated himself that far.
Yeah.
And then the other arm and the other elbow on the other side also scooped up to the point where he's doing like crossing noodle arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you understand, if you have ever trained a day in your life, this is the give me your lunch money position.
100%. Yeah, sure.
To get a guy to have his elbows on both sides completely and knee behind the head and shit.
Insane.
Dude,
it's JV. It's amateur hour.
And I was like, that video got super downvoted. It was like, fuck you, Luke. He's out there trying. What are you doing with your life?
At least he made the walk. Listen, stop with that. If you offer my mom $2 million like Tanya Evinger to fight Cyborg, my mom would make that goddamn walk.
You want to pay me to go get the fuck beat out of me by Mickey Gall? Where do I sign?
And I just got to run at him and go, hike, and then take a fucking shitty double leg and get choked out. I'm in.
Everyone is always like, well, why don't you do like a charity jiu-jitsu match against another journalist? And like, first of all, it'd be the worst jiu-jitsu you've ever seen in your life. Two fucking losers who have no business duking it out with shitty ass fucking knee slices. And I was like, and then there's no money. But if you want to pay me money and Mickey Gall beat the fuck out of me, that's fine. You want to be paying me to get money? I bet I could regard. You know what I mean?
I agree, man. What's Mickey Gall? We'll get out on this, but what's Mickey Gall fucking? Hey, man, you got to fight.
Yeah, I talked to him. He actually wanted to take the summer off.
Can't do that. It's not the way the game works. What do you mean take the summer? You got to fight.
I think he's looking to get into like media stuff. Yeah.
Well, he has 4 fights.
I'm not his manager. I'm merely articulating to you what I understand him to be doing.
Well, you hire him as your intern or some shit?
No.
If he called me, I went, all right, Mickey, let's just talk. And I like Mickey Gall. I think he does have a future in whatever he wants to do. I would say, well, let's pick a lane. You're 4-0 or some shit like that. You got a lot of work to do if you want to compete in the UFC, and then get into entertainment. But right now, just being CM Punk doesn't mean you're going to be on MTV Cribs.
He beat Sage too.
That's right, he did beat Sage.
But the thing is, like, why'd you sign Sage, dude? Everyone's like, oh my God, he can bend pans and do forward flip standing. And that's awesome shit.
Shredded.
That ain't fighting.
I know.
That ain't fighting.
That poor kid. He just so mismanaged. So mismanaged.
I actually do think he's got raw ability for real. But
it doesn't. He needs time, man. He just needs time.
Correct.
You're not getting the right matchups, and it's okay for him to fight. The other Mickey Gall stuff. You don't need to throw him to the freaking Wolverines. It's not good, man.
And they try to give him the guys from Ultimate Fighter Latin America, and like
no.
He's kind of struggling against those guys.
He doesn't need it, man. Yeah, I know. He's just not ready. He has all the tools, but you're gonna ruin this butterfly.
And him and Tyron Woodley apparently have some bromance.
Woodley's like, he's the best I've ever seen. I'm like, wow. Well, why the fuck?
Maybe he is in the training room. I don't know.
He has some training room studs.
I don't know. The problem is Bellator. The one major advantage they have is that they can sign a Dylan Dennis, who is obviously a beast in jiu-jitsu, but doesn't have any pro fights.
You can build him up,
and they can give him whoever the fuck they want off of bullshit FC organization.
UFC don't work like that.
Nope.
Same with NFL. Same with NBA. That's how you know they're another level.
Except you could maybe get away with that on the Contender Series.
That's why the Contender Series is good.
And I guess they're like, well, if we're gonna have CM Punk, we don't want to put him on there. Well, you're not using him, so give him a fight, man.
But he just wants to fight. Is CM Punk saying, I'm too good to fight in that? I need to fight on main events because you're full of shit. Then you're not. Or he really wants to get paid like
that. That was the other part. He's like, I want to do this the right way. Well, the right way is to do it like you did, where you show up to fight Johnny Curtis, you blow your fucking hand out, and you got to pay for your own surgery, man. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I can't hate on him, though, because then with comedy, too, like, you need to do it the right way. Open mics and not make any money for 7 years and live on the road. I get it. The deal is...
I feel that's a little different.
Is the market value this is what it is.
Charlie Murphy skipped all that shit, too.
His brother was Eddie Murphy.
Okay, it doesn't matter. The point being is there are certain guys that get anointed where they don't necessarily have to go that route, and they can make it work. And it's not... You're not stealing from people.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
People keep showing up to your shit.
Yeah.
If there wasn't any value, word would get out.
True. It's like Charlie Sheen, like Tiger Blood. That's what you don't want to have happen.
Winning.
He went on 3 and just had no material and literally just walked out.
Yeah, it was the Mayweather-McGregor tour.
Yes.
He had a couple of days.
2 solid days.
2 solid sets.
Then he was in Detroit and he was like, fuck.
And then fucking
the crowd turned on him.
Yeah, they weren't having it. They weren't having it, man.
Well, it's getting late, brother. I know you got some Ryan.
Yeah, I did.
I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while, man, but you're in D.C., so finally we got meet here late at night. You're not going to Floyd's Club. You decided to do a show with me.
I'm not going to Floyd's fucking club. I don't give a fuck about strip clubs, dude.
Me neither. I don't get it.
I was 25. I was like, titties. Now I'm like,
even 25. I don't. Just
no?
give me no. I've never been into them. But are you going to the fight tomorrow? Are you headed back tomorrow? What are you doing?
No, I'm gonna watch it in the media center.
Nice, man.
Yay! And then I'm gonna
Yay!
And then I'm gonna I always get the first bird out of town. That's my way to do it. So I got a 6 a.m. flight and then I go home.
Good for you, brother.
Thanks,
appreciate you making the time and coming on, man.
Before we go, let me just say one last thing. Your listeners already know this shit. You know, I'm not. This is not revelatory breaking news, but you know, I've been in the game for a while. We kind of came up with more or less the same time-ish. You know, in terms of starting and where we are now.
If people don't remember, my third fight ever where I got set up by this guy, Johnny Curtis.
Yeah.
That they told me he's a high school wrestler, happened to be on the national team and the wrestling coach at George Mason University.
He was a little longer in the tooth, though. You were, to our point, you were the young guy.
He
then.
was 47.
Yeah, you were the young guy.
I
then.
murked this dude.
Yeah, you knocked him the fuck out. That's what happened.
But it was you were the guy that was doing the event. I remember talking to you there.
Yeah. And so I just want to say, there's a lot of shitbags in this business. There's a lot of losers. There's frauds, and there's just terrible people. You're not one of them, man. You've been one of the ever since I've known you. Sometimes we agree. Sometimes we don't agree. Sometimes we've had good days and bad days. I'm just saying, I want your listeners to know, as somebody else, as third-party validation for whatever this is worth, you're one of the more genuine guys in this business.
I appreciate it,
and
brother.
I always like interacting with you, even when we don't agree. Don't give a fuck, because you're a real person, and it's a breath of fresh air.
I appreciate it, man. You're
you
one of
go.
my favorites. You know this, and I will say this: if I for whatever reason, if I'm doing a show, I'm doing a breakdown, I need to know something. My number one thing I go first, your podcast, Luke Thomas podcast, and I go to MMA Beat.
Thanks, man.
Those are the two best. If you're a mixed martial arts fan, those are literally the two best.
Doing what I can.
Appreciate it, man.
Pulling the yoke. Thanks, dude.
Listen to them. Thanks for coming on, brother.